all about the unexpected. First, Mindseye is a complete disaster, and really, who could have expected that? Second, Ben Studio has done some layoffs, and in the wake of the canceled live service game, they have spun up a new project. Third, a big movement is confirming, a big moment is confirming a Halo game is coming to PlayStation, but it's not seemingly the Halo Master Chief Collection or Infinite. So what exactly is it? We're going to be getting into all these stories and more. I'm going to end Morning Coffee and bring folks over with Redirect. Thank you guys so much who are members to the channel. That is one of the best ways to support what I do. I am a fan-funded channel. We are not a large channel, and I do this full-time thanks to the folks who do the memberships and the member giftings. So if you've ever gotten a membership before or watched a show before, consider clicking join and pick Member Plus. Also, if you're watching on Twitch, use those primes, use those subs, and that way you'll never see an ad. So let's get into what exactly is going on with all these news stories. This may surprise you, but a game with rough-looking gameplay, an odd preview event, and strange behavior leading up to launch turned out to be a disaster. And yes, I'm talking about Mindseye. And since nobody likes hearing somebody say, "I told you so," I'm just going to skip that part. I spent 2 hours with this game, and as I said on Twitter, this is the closest to a scam that we have seen since the day before. Yes, the game is real, you can actually install it and play it, but it is nothing short of a disaster. Performance is abysmal, which makes it hard to even see all of the mediocre Bush League glory. And we are, hang on. Okay, I'm not going to be able to record at that bit rate. Sorry. I am so sorry. I'm using a recording method that won't work. We'll have to go back to the drawing board on how to do that. Do me a favor and let me kind of just go back on this. That is my fault. We are streaming at a higher bit rate now for Twitch. We're streaming at a higher bit rate for Twitch. And so when I'm recording, I'm doing 2 different recordings. So I'm going to record full screen. Let me take that back so the creature can actually use it. Yeah, Mindseye, the live stream. I am sorry about that. I can't show you the B-roll. We'll have to figure out a different way to do multi-recordings. I am so sorry about that. It should be better now. It says encoding is still overloaded. I don't understand. Let me reset YouTube. All right, we are going to try this again, YouTube. Bit of a rough start. I am sorry about that. I should have experimented with recording. Drop to 1080. No, I should have experimented with recording. I'm doing 2 recordings for the show open, and that absolutely irritated it. So sorry about that, everybody. Let's take that back from the top, and then I just won't show B-roll for this opening segment because I want him to be able to use these. We'll have to figure out a way to do 2 recordings. Sorry about that. So let me hit record again. Let me make sure I have that filter turned off so we don't do dual recordings. Well, hopefully recording in general doesn't cause the issue. Let's see if it does. Hopefully it doesn't. Let's just try it. This may surprise you, but a game with rough-looking gameplay, an odd preview event, and strange behavior leading up to launch turned out to be a disaster. No, yeah, I can't record. I can't record. Screw it. I'm going to have to reset again. Okay, I'm back. I am sorry. This is a terrible start to the show. We usually run a very tight ship. This is a new territory for me. I need to figure out how to tell it that when I record, not to record at the broadcast settings. I think that's the problem. I have the frickin' thing set so dadgum high so that you guys get such a great broadcast like quality that if I hit record, it like overloads it. I can't do it. I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch at very, very high bit rates and it overloads it. I don't even know where I set that up in the settings. I need to basically be able to turn down the recording settings. Which I don't think I can do because I'm actively streaming. I'll have to look into this later. It's not that big of a deal. We just won't record. All right. So you're gonna get your B-roll. Well, you know what? I'll stay in this frame. Because Creature can still use this. I still think this is worth using. So I'm just going to stay in this frame, no B-roll, and then that will allow him to use this later. Yeah, Mindseye so broken it broke my stream. Okay, let's try this one more time. All right, one more time. Here we go. This may surprise you, but a game with rough-looking gameplay, an odd preview event, and strange behavior leading up to launch turned out to be a disaster. And yes, I'm talking about Mindseye. And since nobody likes hearing somebody say, "I told you so," I'm just going to skip that part. I spent 2 hours with the game, and as I said on Twitter, this is the closest to a scam that we have been since the day before. Yes, the game is real, and you can actually install it and play it, but it is nothing short of a disaster. Performance is abysmal, which makes it hard to even see all of the mediocre and Bush League glory. With missions, combat, and mechanics that play like an intern's tech test project for college, there is almost nothing redeeming about this game, except for the cutscenes in the story, which are actually not that bad. But basically everything else is in such a bad state, it truly feels like they shipped what feels like an early concept phase tech test, LARPing, as a full game release. Steer clear of this game unless you buy it on sale for the lulz, and if you've seen any funny moments in streams or videos, let me know about them in the comments below, or you can come tell me about them in a live stream. All right, next story is about Bend. Well, if you weren't already annoyed with PlayStation's live service plans, you certainly will not like the latest news. Remember Bend Studio, the developer behind Days Gone? Well, you may have missed that they were working on a live service game that was recently canceled. And while many celebrated that because they either don't like live service games or they're like me and they don't like having single-player studios work on live service games, well, the concern at the time was that it would lead to layoffs, and it has. Around 40 people have been laid off from the studio. And along with this news, we have learned that they are spinning up a new project. So it's safe to say that they restructured around the new project and they needed to slim down, given that they would not be working on 2 projects at the same time. With the success of Helldivers 2 and the hype surrounding Marvel Tokone Fighting Souls, I've continued to say that PlayStation should continue pursuing live service games in that way. Seek out developers who are experienced in that game genre or in the live service field. The odds of a long-standing single-player studio just figuring out live service is incredibly silly. Naughty Dog had their eyes opened by Bungie, and since then, we have heard that both Bend Studio and Bluepoint had their live service games canceled. So while this change in direction is likely to take a right course, I think it is a painful lesson for the studios and the folks losing their jobs. What are your thoughts on PlayStation's future live service efforts? Let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in a live stream. Halo's the next story. Well, The Last Man Standing as an Xbox exclusive looks to be making the leap any day now. A Halo and API tracking Twitter user discovered something pretty significant, and it literally just happened. They reported that a Halo game will be coming to PlayStation very soon, stating that the title exists on the retail API with no current ETA. When asked if this was Halo Infinite or the Master Chief Collection, they said no, it was a new game and could be the remaster, remake, or something else. Given what Phil Spencer said at the end of the recent Xbox showcase about 2026 being where we see, quote, the return of a classic that's been with us since the beginning, many are speculating that this is the Halo Combat Evolved remake or remaster. I, for one, hope it's a remake, not just a remaster, so they can really uptick it, but we will have to wait and see what comes of this. What do you think? Is it the Halo remake, or is it something else? Let me know in the comments below, or you can come discuss it in a live show. And now I've got a game for your wish list and your radar. If you somehow managed to miss this game, it definitely needs to be on your wish list or radar. The Expanse Osiris Reborn was announced during Summer Game Fest, and it looks awesome. Described as an action RPG, and according to interviews, it will cover the Season 1 into first half of Season 3 of the show. And even if you've never watched the show, it is clear that this game looks worthy of attention. Right now, all we know is that it is headed to PC, Xbox Series X and S, and the PS5. No release date or release window or year has been stated, so make sure to wishlist this so you don't miss any updates, trailers, or new gameplay videos. And let me know in the comments below, was this a game already on your radar, or does it even interest you at all? You can let me know, or you can come discuss it in a live show. And that is the very rough and terrible show open, because I didn't realize I couldn't record. Now that we've increased the bitrate so high for Twitch, it's going to make it to where I can't record those show opens. So we're going to have to figure out a way to send. I think what I'm probably going to have to do is send like a video feed to the gaming rig and just record it there. That's probably what we're going to have to do, just to simplify it. Like, I'll just open OBS on the gaming rig, and when I start that segment, I'll just hit record. It'll be a completely separate rig, and then that way he can have those show opens, because that enables me to basically turn every show open into, like, multiple videos, because the short shelf is not at all the same type of audience that sees these live shows. So it's just something that we've been doing. So I definitely write the show opens with that in mind, and that's extremely helpful for us to potentially, like, grow and meet new people. So I don't want to, jettison that strategy. So sorry about that. We have not done an open show recording yet since we increased the bitrate to do 2K streaming for Twitch. So it's all Twitch's fault. Do me a favor, YouTube. That rough start might hurt us a little bit on turnout. So be sure to click the like button. Get us our first 100 likes. Let's try to have a big day, even though we had such a rough start. That's all well and good, Lono, but the real review I want to hear is the guy yesterday that was going to make his own judgment. Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to hear from Corey and see what he thinks, because, buddy, that game is rough. And Joker Quinn, Han shot first, and so did you. First gifted of the day. And I also have to thank Kat. I don't think I paid the $5, though, for Twitch. I owe Twitch members already. They already hit the $5. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And then I'm going to come over here to the member count, and I'm going to bump it by 2, 353. Thank you so much. And then I'm going to bump YouTube by 1, thanks to Joker Quinn. And currently, it's 17-1. It is 17-1. Liking the video you're enjoying is like tipping your waiter, but easier. Oddly, Corey's not here today. Well, maybe he's playing. Maybe he's having a good time with it. Yeah, maybe he's having a good time with it. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you guys for the first 100 likes of the day. I greatly appreciate it. Will you do an Xbox ROG Ally vid? Sorry if you maybe did. I missed it. No, I mean, we've debated it, and people, there were people on Twitter this morning giving me grief about it. Like, they're like, Xbox is calling it an Xbox, and Asus is calling it an Xbox, but Reforge Gaming is surprised people are calling it an Xbox. I'm like, so, I took a shot back, and I said, yeah, because, listening to Xbox marketing has gone so well for Xbox fans this gen. And they didn't have a reply to that, because it's like, you're really going to just take their stupid marketing talking points and be like, yeah, it's an Xbox. Like, okay. You know what also is an Xbox according to them? This. So if that's a W, I don't know what to call that. I want to hear what Corey thinks, just so I can say, I'll wait and make up my own mind. Corey's here. He's in a meeting. He's got us on in the background. Okay. You've been called to the mat, Corey. People want to know what you think of Mindseye. I was wrong, but I'm okay with being wrong. I think that's fair. And a 20 bomb comes in from Pathalon Phoenix, and he puts us on the doorstep of the next milestone. We are 2 away, and just like that, the member battle goes to YouTube, 21-17. But whoever hits it gets it, boys. It's up for grabs. 2 more members, and I owe somebody 5, either YouTube or Twitch. I'm apparently holding an Xbox in my hand right now. That's right. My show's an Xbox. Everything's an Xbox. Those folks at the Xbox Live event look so sad seeing it was a ROG. Yeah, it took the wind out of the sails of the moment. It's like, it's not an Xbox handheld. It's a handheld that's already been in the market. Like, I don't want to discuss that again today. We've discussed that enough. We can't keep going back to that. It's a silly discussion. You can say anything you want and make fun of me all you want on Twitter. You guys look like clowns. I'm sorry. You're just buying into more silly marketing that brought you to a place where you now are supporting a publisher and cheering for their money. Like, wow, what an embarrassing state of affairs. Yo, what's good? Kicking it with Timmy B. So I'd rather have this debate. Yo, a VIP from Eugene. We are now 1 away from the milestone. You guys are just going to let that dangle there. Holy cow. Somebody's got to secure that. Eugene bumps it with a VIP. Mindseye devs are watching the stream and thinking good frame rate isn't as easy as you thought. Yeah, when I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube at the exact same time, and trying to record 2 different recordings. Yeah, that's a bit much for my poor computer. So, thank you so much, Eugene. And let me take this first question, and then I want to clear out the question queue, so that it doesn't say such a high number. So the first question comes in from Citizen JV. So which do you think it is, Halo Remaster or a remake? I don't have a prediction. I just have a hope. I hope it's a remake. If you're going to go back and you're going to grab a title that's that old, my current opinion is that it should be a remake. And Ward Huff is going to land the plane exactly on 375. And just like that, YouTube secures their first gifted member bomb of the day. Oh, they're going to close me in here? I know. It just gets hot in here. I'm not shouting 50 bomb. I gets hot in here when you guys close my door. No, you can close my door. I'm not saying you can't close my door. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just complaining. Yeah, when you guys go back upstairs, please open it. I'm not going to say farty bomb. Go watch your thing and shut the door, please. Okay, they can hear you. They can hear. My kiddos say hi to the stream. No, not especially anybody. You both said it. No one. You can't win saying hello. Nothing. Not everything is a dadgum contest. Agent of Chaos comes in from DK Bager. Thank you so much, and that gets us to 376. I appreciate you so much. This is what I want to debate with you guys. All right, because it was a bit of a debate this morning in morning coffee. All right, farty bomb works. I'm not saying oh my gosh, and everybody's saying farty bomb now. Thank you. That's wonderful. Let's go with farty bomb. I'll make you a deal. Next 50 bomb, I'll say farty bomb in my kiddo's honor. All right, and then they'll get to hear me yell it. They will think it's the funniest thing ever. Anyways, do you agree, or what? Maybe I should phrase it this way: how far does a game need to go before you're willing to call it a scam? Like, we know that the day before was a scam. They misled the public. It was fake footage. What they showed people is not what they let you download on Steam the day that it launched. I have actually argued and I have come to the conclusion that the way that Mindseye was marketed was deceptive. They misled the public. They hid things from the public. My argument is that qualifies as scam. You sold something to people based on totally fake marketing. Totally. Star Citizen? No, because the people that have paid for things in Star Citizen get the things they pay for. No one is ever giving money to Star Citizen and not getting what they're paying for. People gave money for Mindseye and they got something that's not what they were paying for. They were paying for what they saw in the trailers. What did they mislead? The gameplay looks nothing like how it actually performs in the game. The AI doesn't work. Missions are broken. Like, things don't work right. That's a misrepresentation. A scam is a misrepresentation of any product. So if a game looks next gen and it releases broken and ugly, it's a scam. Eugene says, if there's intentional deception, it's a scam no matter what. I think we can argue they intentionally deceived people. They had a really, really weird preview event. They sent no review copies. I'm serious. I think that qualifies as scam. I think that's willful misleading of the public. They'll have to fix a lot of things to get people interested. You guys want a farty bomb emoji? Listen, that's going to cost you, okay? That's going to cost you, all right? We'll need to hit some farty bombs, okay? And then I'll give you it. It feels like they pushed it out to get as much money back before they shut the doors. That's what I'm saying. Like, they not allowing people to see, reviews and the state of the game ahead of time, hiding things from the public, I think is, I don't know. That to me is a scam. A scam is paying for a product and not receiving the product. No, I don't think it's that extreme, FCAT. No. The example I gave in Morning Coffee is if I was selling this mug to you and I went like this and I said, look at that. You buy this mug, man. Look how great it is. And I sell it to you and that doesn't work and it leaks like crazy. I've scammed you. I misled you. With that logic, Cyberpunk and No Man's Sky were a scam too. I would argue that Cyberpunk was a scam. The problem with No Man's Sky is there's so much more nuance. There's so much more nuance to why that happened and how quickly they fixed it. Like, I don't feel like No Man's Sky blatantly went out and intentionally lied to people. They had a flood. There were features that they lost that ended up coming back to the game very, very quickly. I don't feel like No Man's Sky qualifies. I definitely think Cyberpunk qualifies. I think No Man's Sky is such a unique instance, it's hard to just put it in a clear-cut category. It's really, really hard. Like, if you go back and you actually do an autopsy or some kind of a rundown of what happened with No Man's Sky, it is not even in the same category as Cyberpunk or the current situation with, then use nuance on Mindseye. I mean, you want me to use nuance? Mechanics don't work. Fundamentals of the game don't work. Fundamentals of the game glitch. Performance is abysmal. Like, all of those are things that are not how it was promoted or advertised. That there is no nuance. The only thing that runs and looks decent are cutscenes. That's not a game. A tip from Leslie Benzie. Thank you for the 250. Aha, I found another one of Rockstar's paid shills. How dare you criticize my magnum opus? My lawyers will be talking. Oh, wait, never mind. They left. Stop hurting my fee-fees. Thank you so much for the 250. We could apply that to No Man's Sky based on that logic. I don't agree. No. I think that No Man's Sky, there was the one thing that Sean Murray tried to downplay and say, you should not expect to see other people. You should not expect to play with other people. That's not the point of the game. And the guy pressured him into being like, yes, there's multiplayer. And they ended up adding multiplayer. That's not somebody going out and willfully misleading the public. That's an awkward guy doing interviews and being pressured into an answer. That interview was an embarrassment. That guy wouldn't let it go. There was not some willful, purposeful going out and telling people this version of No Man's Sky, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And then it comes out and it's like, oh, where are all the things you promised us? It was one interview where the guy wouldn't leave him alone about it. By that logic, any game that doesn't release in a great state's a scam? No, false. I don't agree with that. No, plenty of games launch with performance problems. So I gave the example of Tainted Grail. Tainted Grail launched on console and had a bunch of performance problems. Really serious screen tearing, real serious frame rate issues, and some stuttering, okay? Then those things get fixed, and there's still a great game there. Tons of substance, tons of passion, tons of work. Even if you made Mindseye run at 60 FPS locked, it's not a game ready for the public. It's basically in the status of a technical test. Missions don't work. AI doesn't work. You interact with things and it doesn't work right. Tires don't spin on the car. AI doesn't respond. Mission flow breaks. Like, combat doesn't even work right. Guns are shooting out of the side. Like, it's just because it has performance issues doesn't make a game a scam. Because performance issues can be rectified and then the game is totally fine. Right there's your complete product. You've got missions, you've got AI, you've got all those mechanics working. They sold a tech test to the public. You need to look up the definition of scam? No, you do. Selling something under false pretenses is a scam. If I sell you on something and I don't give you the thing I said I was going to sell you, I scammed you. Like when people were selling console boxes. Like Lego Halo. I like Farty Bomb. Is that what the game was? A Lego Halo game? Or are you saying Let's Go Halo? Yeah, the basic definition of a scam is a dishonest scheme. So it's like that's super, super generic, and I think you could apply it here. They were dishonest. They showed a product to people that doesn't really exist. Like that game you see in the trailers, and people are like, well, the game looked bad in the trailers. Most people didn't agree with me when I said that. Let's watch the trailers, and you try to tell me that we've got an official launch trailer. We've got a couple of trailers here we can watch. You try to tell me that this accurately depicts the product. And if this is all cutscenes, then this trailer won't work for my argument, because the cutscenes are the one thing in the game that actually do look fine. The trailers didn't look good, though. You said that from day one. If the general public thinks that the trailers look fine, then no, they're being fooled. Just because I've been covering games for 10 years and have the ability to deduce when I'm being sold a bill of goods doesn't mean that the average public has that ability. They're taking advantage of people's inability to look at something and see all those pieces and parts that just don't quite line up. The average person watched these trailers and were excited. I bet you if we go back to the earliest of trailers, like, of course their launch day trailer doesn't have any dadgum gameplay. Let's get to the gameplay. Quick edits. Yeah, quick edits, smooth performance, right? Intense fights. None of this is how the game actually plays. This is misleading. To say that this is not misleading, I think is incredibly disingenuous. This is misleading to think that, like, this is the quality of game that I'm going to get. Oh, and then they show you can, like, build missions at the end here. Like, that's not important to me. This is probably going to be the same trailer, right? Yeah. This is the same trailer. This is 4 days ago. Do you want to see why it's a scam? You ready? Look at the like ratio. Look at the like ratio. 7.6 thousand to 900. People thought this looked dope. Ergo, it's a scam. People were misled. Look at what the trailer has now on IGN now that the game's out. Now the like ratio is completely flipped because the game's actually out. They scammed people, bro. Like, here's the problem with the discussion. We had this discussion in Morning Coffee. Just because you and I are on the same wavelength and we agree that, like, oh yeah, the trailers look bad from the beginning, that doesn't justify selling something in the state that they've sold it. They have scammed people. When people went and pre-ordered, when people went and saw trailers and gave them money, when people went and bought it day one, because you could review it on Xbox before even playing it, because if you pre-order it, you own it and can leave a review. It had like a 4.8 on Xbox before the game was even playable by the public. I think that is completely and totally wrong. The same thing happened with Cyberpunk, and it was considered a scam to such a great degree that PlayStation took Cyberpunk out of their store. If you go to McDonald's and they give you a bad burger, it's not a scam, it's bad service. False equivalency. That's a false equivalency. This is a product and everybody gets the exact same one. No. If you and I go to the store and we both buy the exact same vacuum cleaner and mine is broken and yours runs fine, that's a defect that is then covered under warranty. I return it and then I get a non-defective product. Now, if we go to the store and we each buy a vacuum cleaner that promised to do really great things and certain things, and it would do this and all this, that, and the third, and they showed it on commercials like having such good suction, you could like put it up on your wall and like leave it there, and we both get it home and it doesn't do any of those things, we were scammed. We purchased the vacuum under false pretenses. It was like, oh, it's going to do this. It doesn't do that. It doesn't run well. It doesn't function as they promised. That's a scam. You scammed me. You tricked me into buying your product. Fair example, that's not one-to-one. That's what I mean. Defects in something that's covered under warranty or return policy, defects are different because you might get a vacuum cleaner that runs perfectly fine and then mine's broken and doesn't work. I would get my money back or just swap it for another one. Fail rates and stuff like that exist. In a game, it's hard to find a one-to-one, but basically what a game promises is, it promises you this experience, and there's the generic, I think, assumed promise that it's going to run well. And when you see trailers of like hyper-cut, hyper-action, everything looks like it's running really, really well, everything looks like it's running and looking at like a high fidelity, and then you get it, it's blurry, it's glitchy, it's stuttery, and then the AI and the missions and the shooting and all that doesn't work right or run well, you've been scammed. You have been tricked. You've been swindled. I had a PS5, I had a PS4 Pro when Cyberpunk came out. Cyberpunk played like GTA 5 on the PS3 when it came out. It was a good game, not a scam. Oh no, it was a total scam. It was a total scam. Cyberpunk, it was the biggest scam, and then it was only outdone by the day after, or the day before, whatever it was called. Yeah, the day before. No, it was a total scam. They totally misrepresented the product and sold something to people they had no business selling it to them. That game should have never been on old gen. People have a difficult time admitting they were lied to and believed those lies. Yeah, I think they do. I think people have a hard time admitting that, and I think that's what's happened here. Yo, could we get to 200 likes on the YouTube video? You guys are crushing it. We're at like 145. Thank you so much. We have a request for an emote. My kids want 50 bombs called Farty Bombs. We should set some kind of a goal today, and I'll make that emote for you guys. Concord a scam? No. Nope. Concord's not a scam. How is Concord a scam? The trailers looked exactly like what the game played as. It was a derivative, boring 5v5 hero shooter with ugly characters. That's exactly what they showed in the trailers. Concord was just not in demand. Nobody wanted it. There was no scam there. I told people from moment one, I was like, this is an enormous risk. Who wants to play a game like that? It was derivative. It was Destiny. You know, I didn't even get into analyzation of the characters because I thought the gameplay looked boring. Eugene says, it's wild. You shouldn't be ashamed of being lied to. The other person is the one at fault. Yeah, like, don't internalize some kind of weird blame or shame here. Like, if you guys got tricked by the trailers or the marketing for Mindseye, which is interesting because Yanadid is saying that he agrees from the very beginning it looked bad, therefore nobody was scammed, and I think that's a ridiculous claim. The logic there is so backwards. It's like, so because some of us were able to deduce that the game was in a bad state from the trailers, they're allowed to ship a game that should not be sold. Like, that's ridiculous. So was it okay for the day before to put their game into Steam? There were a bunch of us that could tell the footage was faked. There was a bunch of us could tell that the developers were fooling the public. Did that make it okay for them to put the game in Steam and take people's money? No, it didn't. Just because people figure it out doesn't make it okay. Like, think about what you're actually saying here. There are people every day exposing scammers on their streams. Like, they keep them on the phone and they expose them. Just because they expose the scam doesn't make the scam okay. It doesn't make the scam no longer a scam just because you figured it out. The logic there is bewildering to me. I owe an apology to Agent for saying Mindseye was that. I'm not sure what you're saying. Why was Concord even greenlit anyway? Why were the devs given $400 million? They went and got funding. They weren't given $400 million from like a publisher that's familiar with games, Metalhead. They went and got funding. They got $200 million, and then they went and did it again. Like, Jerry Jones was one of the people who invested in Concord. They went to people that I guess they probably convinced them with their chops and their history. I don't know. EA is the top publisher for disappointment. This is kind of true. Agent is the canceled Rockstar from the PS3 gen. Oh. I was very excited for the day before. Luckily, I stopped pre-ordering games years ago, so escaped unscathed. That good, man. Good for you. I'm still sad that game never came out. What was worse, Cyberpunk the first month or Mindseye? I don't think Cyberpunk... See, the problem is Cyberpunk on PC was a decent game. It got like a 75% from the audience on Steam like the month that it came out. Cyberpunk's getting drug everywhere. It's got like a 40% on Steam. Eugene says, if I had to guess, Concord funding was a result of private equity wanting to get into gaming, the gaming bubble caused by the pandemic. I think that's a very, very good analysis. Like when they were procuring the funds, it was probably during or post-pandemic, and these guys thought they were going to make some big money on a live service game. They probably put together a real fancy presentation, talked about Fortnite, talked about the money that could be made, talked about their history in the industry, and they probably got a bunch of people to say, "Yo, there's big money to be made in gaming. Holy crap!" And it was a freaking ruse. I played Cyberpunk on PC at release. It was great for me. Was shocked seeing console videos. Yeah. So I would argue that Cyberpunk's a bit of a mixed bag because on console it was basically unplayable if you were on old gen. Like, it was like unplayable. Like they had no business shipping that thing the way that they did. Are the people having fun with the game scammed? I'm not really concerned about them. I'm concerned about everybody else who's leaving a bad review and not playing anymore. They matter way more than people that are like, yeah, it's not that bad. Scammer is reserved for people who are intentionally taking your money. Releasing a bad product due to outside circumstances is not a scam. Outside circumstances, even though they didn't live with the expectations. Yenida, do you work for the company? Listen to me. There aren't outside circumstances. They knew the game wasn't ready. They hid the fact that the game wasn't ready from the public. Stop excusing it. It's this is exactly what gamers should do. You should draw a line in the sand and say, you misled the public. Your trailers were put together in a misleading way. You had a really goofy preview event. You sent no review copies, so no one can get an idea of how good the game is before launch. And then you actively were encouraging Australian streamers to not stream the game, even though they were totally in their right to do it, because you didn't want anybody to see the game. That's not outside circumstances. They made it. They knew the state that was in. They shipped it anyway, and they took great effort to hide that from the public. That is a scam. That is a scam. You can't act like it's outside circumstances. Like what, they didn't know? I say outside circumstances because I feel like they would have delayed the game if they weren't reporting to shareholders. Who's publishing it? What do you mean? IO Interactive. So what you're trying to do now is you're presuming something that we don't know. You're presuming something that we don't know. So we're gonna say that like IO Interactive, they forced them to do this, which number one, you don't know, and number two, that doesn't make it any better. That doesn't make it any better. Because they could have said, hey, this is a game that's somewhat a work in progress. We're going to ship it into early access, or we're going to ship it as this, or blah, blah, blah. And you guys can help us kind of fund the game, build the game, da-da-da-da-da. They still chose to market it in a way that misled the public. Even if the publisher says that thing needs to come out on time and you end up getting a bad game, that doesn't justify the marketing. Hang on, FCat. Lona, did you see the YouTubers who got paid sponsorship? They got perfect versions of the game. Well, they probably have vertical slices that they played. My assumption, FCat, is that the people that gave it good reviews and have good footage, I would imagine that they were sent vertical slices, like a small version that installed that allowed them to play, and like then it ran fine. And this is in Anaheim. Oh, dude, I'm not going all the way to Anaheim. There's a creator collective in Anaheim. Plus ones are not permitted. Yeah, I can't do that. That's just too expensive. Yeah, VidCon. YouTube's doing some stuff out there. Yeah, you got to pay my way or I can't do it. I lose so much money when I do stuff like that. The airplane ticket and the hotel stay alone is just insane. And then on top of that, I'm not able to work while I'm gone. It's like, It's like in Arrested Development when they throw a banana in the trash and take $1 out of the cash register. That's what happens when I've got to take a big, long, expensive trip and also don't get to work. Like, I just can't do it. Come over. I'll take you to the best Mexican spots. Oh, Alberto, I would totally take you up on that, but I just can't. It's so expensive to go out to California. Oh my gosh. I'll go for you. Anaheim's only like 10 hours away. I just don't think I can, boys. Eugene says there's a ton of context you're ignoring. They lied to the public. That's scam behavior. Who are you? We don't know that they are trying to scam people, says Donald. Scam needs to have intent behind it. So that's why I think the phrase is overused and it's subjective to the user. Can't feel scam for others. Okay, here's the problem, Donald. Here's the problem. All we need is the intent to deceive, and we have ourselves a scam. Let's just whittle this all the way down to the most basic way of defining it. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, take a quick second and get us to 200 likes. We had kind of a rough start because I was trying to record, and we can't record now that my bit rate's so high for both platforms. So help me out with the likes. Also, check your resubs, check your Twitch primes. We're having a bit of a battle here. It's actually still close. It's 24-17 between Twitch and YouTube in the battle. We're 24 away from the next milestone. And if you guys want the farty bomb emote, because my kiddos made a joke about calling 50 bombs farty bombs, I think we'll need at least 2 today. So you're going to have to put out the bat signal, because that's funny, but I don't know if I want to do it. All right, so let's strip this down to its base definition. All we need is the intent to deceive and when promoting or selling something, and we have ourselves a scam. So if I deceive you and I show you the mug and I turn it upside down and I sell you a mug that you can't do that with, it leaks and the lid sucks, I have scammed you, right? I do it. I intend to deceive you. I show you a version of the product. I represent the product in a way that is absolutely not accurate, okay? So let's ask the question. Have we been able to see or substantiate the idea that the developers of the game Mindseye intended to deceive the public? I believe we have ample evidence that they did. The initial trailer that showed months ago with gameplay, I tried to warn you guys. I said something about this feels off. It feels inauthentic. It feels fake. That gameplay was put together in a way to make you think that's what the game's going to look like. I classify that as deceptive. Then they have more trailers that do the same thing. They're furthering the deception. Then they have a preview event where they don't let anybody actually play the game. They don't supply ample B-roll to people. Why? Because they don't want anybody to see what the game actually looks like. The preview event was an enormous red flag. Then they don't supply anybody review copies. Now, you can argue that, hey, listen, that's not something that's owed to the public, so you can't call that the intent to deceive. That's deception through omission. The industry standard in practice right now is that you send review copies and you let people play the game and review your game at the very least so that the embargo drops on the release date. On the actual release date, okay? That feels like an intent to deceive because they're trying to hide the game from the public. They don't want the public to see the game at all. They only are letting you see like the Instagramified version of the game. Like it's totally faked out and filtered up to make it seem like, oh, this game's going to be amazing. Then, the day the game comes out, Australians get the game first and they start streaming it. Members of the team of Mindseye were asking them to not stream it. Again, the intent there is to deceive, to hide, to omit, to obfuscate, to make it to where people can't truly see what this game is like so that they buy it. I believe, I have just argued rather strongly, rather compellingly, they scammed the public. I believe anybody that bought the game should get a refund. I believe the game should be taken out of storefronts until it's in better shape. It's not a game that should be able to be purchased. Follow-up question. We see a lot of games where the finished product does look does not look exactly like the trailers. Whether there are bugs, performance issues, we don't classify those as scams. I believe this is more far-reaching than this performance issues or minor differences. I believe games like Cyberpunk and Watch Dogs were scams. They went well beyond just performance issues at launch or maybe some minor graphical differences. This is so much far-reaching than that. The game itself doesn't run right. It has mechanics. It has combat flow. It has AI flow. It has mission structure flow. It's all broken. It doesn't work right. I played Watch Dogs. It was great. Watch Dogs 1 was a total scam. It was a total scam. They completely misrepresented the product and lied to the public about the experience they were going to have in that game and what it was going to look like. It was a scam. You'll never be able to dress up Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs was probably the first and most egregious act of lying to the public. Cyberpunk, also a scam. I think No Man's Sky is too nuanced for me. Maybe I'm too biased and too close to it because I felt bad for Sean Murray and the team, and they did such a good job turning it around, and they've never charged a dime. I really have a hard time classifying No Man's Sky as a scam. So much of what Sean Murray got twisted and distorted and misrepresented. I don't know. That never once felt like deception to me. It never once felt like they were trying to deceive people. Yeah, Day Before was the biggest scam we've ever seen out of all of them because the game wasn't even there. It was a total mirage. It was a total mirage. No Man's Sky had true extenuating circumstances, and I can't say he intended to deceive. I think that's exactly right. When he did those interviews and he said those things, he was not trying to mislead people. He was saying things that were true. They lost a ton of work and a ton of progress in a flood, and so the game that shipped was missing a bunch of stuff. That's why they were able to add the stuff in so quickly. In 6 to 8 months, basically all that stuff had been added. A year later, the game had completely transformed. It was because they were already doing all that stuff. He did not sit down and intend to deceive. He did not sit down and intend to mislead people. When he was doing those interviews, all that stuff was coming. All that stuff was in the pipeline, and then they had a studio flood. You can't retroactively be like, he lied. Like, no. When he was saying those things, his intention was merely to just talk about the game, and they were so excited, and that was what they were going to deliver. Now, you could argue that maybe they should have come out and said, hey, a bunch of these features are going to ship post-launch because of the flood. That's fair pushback. But to argue scam, you have to have evidence of willful deception, and I don't think we have that with No Man's Sky. I don't. I think we have that with Cyberpunk. I think we have that with The Day Before. I think we have that with Watch Dogs 1. And I think we have ample evidence with Mindseye they willfully misled the public. I do. You don't have to agree with me. That's my opinion. Eugene says, don't forget the executive lying to the public about paid for hate campaign that he implied Rockstar was behind. Yeah, you had a CEO running conspiracy in a Discord that like people were being paid to hate on the game, acting like there's no this criticism's fake. Like, really think about the depth of that. Think about the depth of that. You're actively misleading the public, and you're going to run a narrative that somebody's trying to mislead the public about your game. I like to be the counter-argument person sometimes. I personally do not feel scammed by my purchase of Mindseye, but I do want better performance, yes, but not scammed, so I think it boils down to the user. I think subjectively, you're allowed to say, I don't feel I got scammed. I can then say there's another side to that coin, and everybody who bought this game thinking it was going to look and run like what they showed in the trailers, those people have been scammed. And I think everybody should get a refund who requests one. If you're fine with it, if you're happy to wait and get updates, that bully for you. You go and have a ball. I think that the game has some redeeming qualities in the story and the cinematics. But the rest of it is just so woefully behind. I don't think you'll have a game worthy of attention for at least a year, minimum. They have so much work to do. $5 super chat tip from Mark says, the community has to stop. Listen to what Lono is saying. If the community keeps defending dumpster fire games, will continue to be released in this way. I don't think anybody is defending the game. If I steel man the opposition, the people who are arguing with me, and I make their argument as strong as possible, okay? If I try to bolster their argument, they're basically saying, I bought a product that I could tell looked rough from jump. It's rough. I don't feel scammed. That's the best argument I can put together for them, because I don't think it's a very good argument, but that's the best I can do. They're not defending the game. They're saying, I knew I was buying a rough-edged product. I knew it was going to be in rough shape and probably need some tender love and care. It needs more than that, but they're debating me on definition of scam. People say Team Kill Media is a scam. Are those the guys that made the game that they like retweeted harassment about me because I didn't review their game because I kind of felt bad for them because they were a small studio and I thought I was doing them a solid, and then they decided to be scummy and toxic on Twitter about it? What's their game? Quantum Error or whatever? What a trash can of a game and studio. What world do we live in where people defend this developer and other people call intergalactic DOA because they saw a bald woman? They're not related. The thing is, says Trill, the devs haven't displayed any actions that should grant them this level of charitability that people are giving them. You made the video gameplay gold, Lono. The commentary canceled out the horrible gameplay. Listen, my fervor on this is one of principle. We are going to have so much fun with that game. This week, if you guys unlock Friday night at 500 members, gifted or resubs, which I have to add one in a second from Pimp Shrimp, the stretch goal is always to make Madam and I play a game. You can make Madam play Mindseye this Friday night if we get to 600 is always the stretch for gameplay, because I prefer just to hang out with y'all, but we do stretch goals for gameplay and for music, so we can get more hilarity out of Mindseye. So get it going, boys. You got a lot on the line right now. If we get 250 bombs today, you're getting a farty bomb emote, which I think sounds ridiculous, but you guys asked for it. If you get it to 600 on the week, you're going to see Madam play Mindseye. So, let's get it. And we're getting it with Pimp the Shrimp adding to the count. 23 months. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for getting us to 200 likes. I greatly appreciate it. There's already previews of Resident Evil? What? That's so fast. How'd they keep that locked down? Off topic, but if you put all of the Game of the Year winners since 2014 against each other in the same year, who would come out on top? Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, Witcher 3, Breath of the Wild, God of War. Take God of War off the table. Take Witcher 3 off the table. Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3, and Breath. Golly, I think Elden Ring edges them both out. That's a tough one. I think Elden Ring edges them both out. It's tough because Breath of the Wild came first, and there was clearly open world influence that Breath of the Wild had on the market that may have actually landed in Elden Ring. So that's a really, really tough. That's a really, really tough one. Tilu 2 wouldn't stand a chance against Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring. I think Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring are the two leaders there. But again, that's a really, really tough discussion to have because it's hard to unknit that sweater. Like Breath of the Wild probably influenced Elden Ring to some degree. The open world discoverability, like the exploratory purpose of Elden Ring is, I just feel so much Breath of the Wild influence. I don't know. Elden Ring's not that good of a game. There are much better Souls games. I mean, that's subjective, and the universal praise, interest, and commercial success of the game kind of it makes it hard for you to make that case. I'm not arguing fallacy of the group or something like that, but like, I don't know, dude. It's hard to argue with the numbers. It really, really is. Anyways, that's a total side issue debate. Jason Schreier has released a scathing article regarding what happened with Dragon Age: The Veilguard's development. Here are the highlights. BioWare was under immense pressure to succeed after the failure of Anthem and Andromeda, and the Veilguard needed them to stay afloat. Original concept was codenamed Joplin, smaller single-player experience. EA forced them to pivot to multiplayer live service format, codenamed Morrison. That happened in 2017. Crave director resigned after that shift. Matt Goldman replaced him and aimed for a lighter, pulpy tone fitting for online gameplay. Anthem's failure in 2019 raised internal doubts about repeating mistakes. Pandemic disruptions and leadership resignations further complicated development. In 2020, the project was abruptly pivoted back to single player without proper pre-production. The team was given just 18 months to overhaul the structure and to rewrite the story. Tight timelines led to rushed decisions and lack of meaningful choice in gameplay. Multiple delays did not allow redesigns, just extensions of flawed structures. Yeah, that's why the combat starts to suck in the late game. Feedback from alpha testing in 2022 pointed to a lack of impactful narrative decision. Last-minute attempts to reintroduce meaningful choices were shallow and constrained. BioWare brought in a second team in 2023 to help finish the game. Cultural clashes arose. Dragon Age team was laid back. Mass Effect team was top-down and structured. Mass Effect leaders rewrote and added new scenes, including the game's emotional finale. Dragon Age leads were frustrated, denied similar resources, excluded from key meetings. Long-standing resentment emerged from EA favoring Mass Effect internally. Originally multiplayer version's snarky tone felt outdated. Concern it would resemble Forspoken led to last-minute dialogue rewrites. But Forspoken's, writing was good, according to some people. Voice actor strike and overtime demands hindered these changes. Initial trailer looked like Fortnite, alienating the RPG fan base. Marketing failed to properly convey the game's actual tone and genre. Remember what I said? That what killed Dragon Age was not garbage woke writing for Tash. It was the dadgum marketing sunk the game from the very beginning. It just set a terrible tone, and they basically did not make the game appeal to anybody. Long-standing fans didn't want to buy it. Non-fans didn't want to buy it, BioWare's future, they contribute around 5% of EA's annual revenue. EA primarily profits from sports and shooter games. Analysts say EA may continue supporting BioWare due to potential payoffs of hit RPGs. However, its long decline raises real questions about whether EA will ultimately shut it down. Analyst Doug Crute said, if they shutter the doors tomorrow, I would not be totally surprised. Well. Isn't it surprising? Do you guys remember when I said we are going to get an autopsy on Dragon Age the Veilguard? And I said it would probably come from Jason Schreier. And dollars to donuts, it's not going to be some weird hidden woke agenda at the game studio that killed it. It would be mismanagement of the project. It would be a complete misfire in the marketing tone. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. It was like, yeah, there's a cringy woke character in the game. That's what killed it. No, it was so clear that game was mismanaged. Like, it was like the tone was all over the place. The writing was all over the place. The trailers were all over the place. That when they showed gameplay, they showed one of the worst sections of gameplay you could possibly show. All evidences of like mismanagement. I was like, this is a mismanaged project. You can literally tell that it was not some project that was hijacked by wokies. It was like, that's not what this game is. I could tell when I played it. I literally could. I was like, it's barely present in the game. I gotta ask, what do you think the Expanse game is too ambitious for a company that small? I love Owlcat, but they're not huge. 250 employees seems ambitious. I don't think so. No. I think, Travis, we're starting to see that the sweet spot for developers is less than 500. I think when you get too big, it actually is way harder. As a fellow gay man, I just wanted to tell you how much I adore your content. I really appreciate that. I know you're probably trying to do a gag about, like, calling me gay. I'm straight. I'm married. I have 2 children. I do joke and openly admit when I have like a crush on a guy, because I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I would snuggle with Henry Cavill, but I'm sorry. I'm not gay. He says, as a fellow gay man. Stop it. No, it's gonna ruin the entire mystique that I have going here. You bitch. I'm just kidding. I mean, it kind of was, but the management didn't see it as being tone deaf and pull the plug on it. It was just allowed to follow through. Listen to how it was managed, though. Of course that stuff snuck through. Of course Tash snuck through. Because did you hear all the stuff that I read? That's a disaster. They could have smuggled in a scene where somebody made out with Jar Jar Binks and it wouldn't have gotten caught. The project was so mismanaged. Of course Tash snuck through. I think if the Expanse is linear and not an open world, they'll be all right. I'm saying, Pathalon, I'm saying the more I play games like Final Fantasy 16 and the more I play games like Expedition 33, I'm like, game companies can start cranking out bangers if they just abandon this insistence on doing open world. Open world is not that big of a seller anymore. It just isn't. It's got to be worth it. It's got to be like Death Stranding level exploration or Elden Ring or Breath or Tears of the Kingdom. If you're not going to give people that level of exploration, then frickin' cut the crap and stop doing it. Or do it in a more measured, sensible way. I think Ghost of Tsushima is probably the best open world game where I don't feel this grand sense of exploratory purpose. It just functions well as an open world. Like, you get into a game like AC Shadows, and it's like, what the frick, man? Come on. It's just too much. The writing's important in Expanse. Oh, for sure. If they're going to be going from Season 1 to to the beginning of Season 3, that's a lot of story that you got to get right. Here's the question. At what point does the studio become too large? You said 500 people, and I get that, but it is people they have or attracting other oversight of big companies. Okay, so what I believe it is, Travis, is I believe you get too large to make appropriate... Oh, man, there's so much to this. Okay, so it's difficult to make appropriate pivots, but I'm already ahead. I'm too far. Let's back it up even further. When you get that large, it's extremely difficult to be experimental and innovative. Why? Because you're working with an aircraft carrier. You've got to do things that are familiar, things that you know work, things that you know are safe. Now, imagine if some of these larger companies started allowing smaller spin-up incubation projects that are driven by passion to start getting into development. I think when you play games like Expedition 33, you see what happens when people are like, well, what if we just did this? And it's like, that's actually a pretty good idea. Let's try that. Now, I think that's what Bungie was trying to do. Bungie was trying to do exactly that. Let's get away from what's safe. Let's get away from what's familiar. Let's do spin-up incubation projects and give ourselves a way to crank out more. It didn't work, okay? It drove the company in the red. The biggest problem with what Bungie did was their funding and their operation cost was directly linked to the success of Destiny. That's not healthy. That's not healthy because the minute you start detracting from your cash cow, you mess up your funding. Well, that can't happen. If you've got traditional publishing relationships, what you need to do is go to the publishers and say, listen, we want to start placing smaller bets. We actually think it stands to be more lucrative, more risk averse, and in the long run, probably just better. We'll be in the market more often as a developer. So you go to the publishers and you would broker that deal and say, listen, instead of doing a $150 to $200 million project that if it fails, we are in deep doo-doo, you say, all right, we're going to do 3 projects, roughly $50 million budget on each. And if not, early on, if we don't feel like it's going to work, you're in a better position to kill the project and then maybe push people around, shove people around and put them on other projects. And then you benefit from their talent and their bandwidth at the company. But I really do think we need to start seeing companies do that because you get too big. And it's like, you're never, ever, ever going to see that innovation and that creativity. They're just going to do what's safe. They're too big. Now, let's get further down the line in development. The further along you are in development, let's say you're getting feedback internally about the game. It's too big. The infrastructure and the pipelines and all the inner workings of the game, it's like, it's an aircraft carrier. It's like, we can't make any significant changes. We're just going to have to ship it like this. This is why games come out and you feel like this is just glaring oversight, or this is really dated, or this is stuff that people hate now. Yep. And it was probably put in years ago and they couldn't rip it out because the game's too big, project's too big. You got too many hands in the dough. It's like there's too many people working, too many people in the kitchen, right? You shrink these teams down and let them build things driven by passion. And I'm here to tell you, you will start to see AAA game quality in AA sized games, and that's far better. You can sell it for $50 or $60. We see that being compelling for some games like Expedition 33, and it's compelling because you're like, oh, that's a big name studio selling a $50 game. That's great. I want to check that out. I think that would have weight. I think that's something you're going to see. It's a prediction that I have made that some of the larger studios are going to start to get wise to the fact that putting all your eggs in one basket, having the whole dadgum studio work on some crazy big expensive project is so stupidly risky. One of the biggest things people talk about, how like the gaming industry is a bubble and it's going to bust and the AAA industry is headed for failure. The reason they say that is because the budgets are mushrooming to an absurd degree. Well, a great way to combat that is stop doing enormous make or break projects. You're putting the future of the company, you're dangling it over the fire of public opinion. That's a terrible idea. That is a terrible idea. And I think they're learning it. I think we've already seen evidence of this from the way that Insomniac is developing, from the way that Naughty Dog is developing, from the way that Santa Monica is developing, from the way that Guerrilla is developing. They're spinning up multiple projects at once instead of just one. Same thing's happening with movies. I don't know enough about that industry to comment. I once heard a dev say the worst thing that can happen to a studio is becoming mainstream because then you have too much oversight. Yeah. You got too much oversight, too many deadlines, too many people, too many executives. You know, what's going on? When's it coming out? We need it to come out. We got to make our money. We answer to shareholders. That's what makes Expedition 33 so insane. Expedition 33 just oozes with passion and creativity. The more I play it, the more I think this right here is like this is what's irritated me about Expedition 33. YouTubers and gamers are weaponizing a game once again to then sort of bludgeon AAA studios and games with, and they're using it as a weapon. And I think that's absolutely stupid. That is not what you should be doing with Expedition 33. Expedition 33 is instructive to big studios. It's not punitive, like, yeah, suck it, let me bash you, you suck, your game suck, bleh. Expedition 33 is so good. That's not what you should be doing with that game. Expedition 33 is instructive. Let smaller teams turn them loose and be like, what are you working on? Laura Fryer spoke about this in one of her videos. If you don't sub to her on YouTube, you should. She is a gem in this environment. I hope her channel explodes. She has great insight into the gaming industry. And she said that there was a time where, you know, there was always somebody working on something. And she said that's what companies should be doing. I don't want to put words in her mouth. She said something to the effect of like, you should be asking your teams, what's everybody working on right now? What's your pet project? What's your dream game? And let them pitch it. You have people that are talented, they played tons of games, they built tons of games, and you could have literal diamonds in the rough getting ignored because they're just a cog in a machine of a $200 million project that may or may not work. How many people that worked on Dragon Age Veilguard had better ideas or great concepts for games that are snuffed underneath the weight of a corporate machine that forces a game out and then it flops and it fails and everybody goes go woke, go broke, and it's like that's not even remotely what happened with that game, but that's the narrative. And thank God for people like Jason Schreier who actually do the journalistic work to look into something to be like, this is actually what happened with the game. Yeah, I have a Discord. You got to be a member to use it. If you guys become a member on YouTube, just make sure you pick Member Plus. Don't pick Member Lite. That's intended for gifteds, and they don't get everything. It's $1 more, but it gets you into everything. Another example I can give is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. They were like, okay, instead of a true RPG like the first one, let's make an action cyberpunk style game. I don't know enough about all these games to comment. I just think that this gaming is a creative work. It's a creative work. And I think the larger the company gets, the harder it is for that aspect of the game to breathe. And you end up with a more corporate exercise. And that's when you end up playing games that just feel like there's nothing here. It's just a shell. It's just this... It's just another fill in the blank. It's just another fill in the blank. I think that's exactly why people started to feel like AAA gaming sucks and AAA games are lame. And it's because, well, yeah, when you play your third or fourth, open world adventure game that feels the same as the last, that's definitely where you're going to run into problems, because it's like, well, then game familiarity breeds contempt. You didn't build a bad game. Let's take Avatar as an example. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is not a bad game. It isn't. But it got tepid, lukewarm response. That's one of the best looking games this gen, and it got incredibly tepid and lukewarm response because there was baked in familiarity. People played that game and they were like, I've played this game before. I really did. I loved like the first 10 hours of the game, and then I felt like I was just playing Far Cry again. As soon as I started hunting, as soon as I started trying to get a specific skin and at a specific quality, I was like, F it, I've done this before, I don't like this, and I was out. All that happened was a familiar system reared its head, and I mentally checked out. A game that I praised. I was like, this is a gorgeous game. It's a fun game. Man, people aren't really giving this game a fair shake. And then I turned that corner and thought, no, I get it. I get why people called this Blue Far Cry. AAA is not designed for failure. A failure will see a studio dissolved. Every game has to be a blockbuster for success. Right, and failure is just got to be a part of it. You've got to have games and ideas that don't make it to market. Like when Shuhei Yoshida said they used to cancel, they canceled games all of the time because they were trying to protect studios from that exact situation of just dissolvement. Like, yeah, you made a bad game, so you're done. So is Blue Far Cry nothing wrong with that? Here's the thing, Travis, the people that loved it the most, I spoke to some people that loved it, and you know what they always said to me? Oh, I never really played a Far Cry. That makes sense. That makes sense. The first time you play Far Cry 3 or 4, it's like, oh, this is so much fun. There's so much to do. And then you play Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 was pretty good, but it got really repetitive. That was my one issue with it. I thought the story was cool. I thought the environment was cool. Far Cry 6, I was hoping had better and more substantive co-op. But then when I played Avatar, I got so far into the game that I was like, I have played this dadgum game before. It happened to me with Gears of War 4. Gears of War 4, I remember the moment I stopped playing. I was down in some lower area. We were headed to an elevator. I was shooting that bow that explodes at people. And I was fighting an enemy who also had one of those bows. And I literally said to myself and out loud, I have played this game before. I've been in this fight before. I have played this game before. And I stopped playing. I thought Gears 5 advanced things and evolved things in a great way. And I actually really enjoyed it. It had the more open world segments, more exploration segments. And then you had Jack, right? Jack, get this open. Like, you had this idea of like the combat I felt like it felt renewed and refreshed by those things. But that's what these big AAA companies need to realize is you have to get familiarity out of the crust, because the minute people taste that, they're like, yep, it's like my kiddos with spices. They have it in their head that if they see a fleck of it, like true white children, if they see a fleck of spice in their food, they mentally are like, I don't want to eat that. It's going to be spicy. Like a fleck of like a flake of pepper. And they're like, yeah, it's going to be spicy. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, eat it. Right? That happens with these games. The minute people sense that familiarity in the crust, they're like, I don't want to play it. I don't want to play this. Yeah, a little bit of basil or something. It's going to be spicy. Like, I don't like turn-based games, and I stopped playing Expedition 33 because the parry system is not enough for me to keep going. I also started playing the other stuff, so the story didn't compel me. Yeah, you got it. I think the story is compelling, and it grows in being compelling. So yeah, if you stopped pretty early, that makes sense. Also, if you can't get into the turn-based in that game, you're not going to have a good time, because it's literally the means of how you move through the game and get stronger. Nexon announces Blue Archive panel. I don't know what that's. Okay, I thought that was something else. Just tell them the spices make farty bombs. Thank you guys so much for a great turnout on both platforms today, man. If you're on YouTube, do me a quick favor. Make sure you have hit that like button. Make that the ritual every time you come in. Hit that thumbs up. It helps out the video. It gets more people in here. If you haven't hit subscribe yet on YouTube, consider doing that. I'm a Safe for Work broadcaster. I do this talk show Monday through Friday. Guys on Twitch, hit the follow button. Hit that heart button on Twitch, and that way you can see my streams every day. If you become a sub on Twitch, you will never see an advertisement. Those ads run really regularly on my Twitch channel. YouTube, I can't do that for you, but when you're a member on YouTube, you get into extra content. We are working on a weekly goal over here, so you can help us with that. Have you ever gone to SDCC? I think I saw you there before. No, you did not see me there. No. There are lots of white guys with beards and glasses at these events. So, yeah. This isn't really a unique look, you know. Really not a unique look. So, you probably saw a lot of versions of me at the event. Some versions maybe a little heavier set, a little taller, but it wasn't me. I saw Lone at my job in Maryland where he doesn't live. Yeah. Yeah, if you see somebody that looks like me and they're tall, it's definitely not me. If you see somebody that looks like me and they're a little hefty, definitely not me. I am 5'6" and skinny. So, let me see if we have any questions submitted. And guys, the like count literally didn't move. So make sure YouTube's not doing that weird thing where it doesn't save your likes. We need the like count to move. That is part of what we do here. That communicates to YouTube that more people should see this. Platformers all feel samey to me, says Travis. I see his Castlevania again. All I see is Castlevania again, which I mean, I beat every Castlevania. But like Hollow Knight, for example, it's fun, but it's just Castlevania yet again. I mean, that to me is an interesting take, that you're like, oh, it's just Castlevania again. It sounds like maybe you played so much Castlevania. You know what? I kind of see that, though, because I played so much Call of Duty. I actually have a hard time playing first-person shooters now. Like, I do. I'm like, I don't, like, maybe not play. I don't get that excited about first-person shooters anymore. Because I literally played Quake 2 all the way to, like, Black Ops 3. I mean, that's like 20 years of Call of Duty. How'd the Twitch channel unban treat you? Was it a net positive? Can we really tell? It is currently a net positive in... It's going in the right direction. Obviously, I thought it was going to be like this immediate, like, life-changing thing. A year from now, it will probably be that, which I'm fine with. If there's one thing I've learned is that endurance, patience, and hard work pays off. Guys, one more time, please, if you're listening to this broadcast and watching, there's over 500 people here. That like count is literally not moving. I'm going to check on my end as well. I mean, 3 likes from asking for likes. There's something's wrong. I'm going to try it on my end, and I'm going to refresh and see if it's saved. Yeah, it saved my like. Okay. Make sure, unless we're embedded somewhere or on a runner somewhere and we got a bunch of people that aren't logged in and watching and can't like, that's unusual for it to not move at all. Someone said he wins the race. That's right. Yeah, Resident Evil behind closed doors impressions are coming out. Yeah. I saw Insider Gaming publish a preview and I was like, a preview already? So it was a preview where they got to sit and see like a presentation or something. I get that as well. Every FPS I play now, I'm like, I'm pretty good, but I just want Titanfall 3. Listen, if there's one thing all gamers have in common, it's that we all want Titanfall 3. There it goes, 273. Thank you on the like count. There we go. Just like 255 said it saved. Yes, it saved. We were at like 230, and I asked twice, and it went to like 235, and I'm like, 5 people? What are we doing here, boys? And now it just jumped to 274. That's what it should do. I don't ask for likes as often. I try to do it like every 40 to 30 minutes. And it's like, usually because you wait, you get a bunch. And I was like, it just didn't move. Lately, I'll do that. And it just will not move. I don't know. It's odd. Key incoming. What is this game? I don't think I've seen this game before. They have a demo. It's coming out in 14 days. It's a beat 'em up side scroller. It looks cool. It definitely looks cool. But if it's PC only, I just don't do that. It's inspired by classics like Streets of Rage and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. 4 playable heroes, mini boss fight in the demo, Steam keys. Yeah, the Steam only games are just bumming me out. There's so many cool ones. I don't have the time to come in here and play them. I play on my couch, man. There's a new beat 'em up game. I don't know. Yeah, coming on June 25th. It's called Heroes of Mount Dragon. It's not the Marvel beat 'em up. No. That's not a beat 'em up. That's a 4v4 tag fighter. Did you redeem your key from Summer Game Fest for Soulframe? I did not. Do we know when that game is releasing? I think we all agree that Mindseye is Game of the Year. Oh, yeah. It's totally Game of the Year. We need that on PS5. We need more co-op beat-em-ups for PlayStation. Oh, you guys are talking about the Marvel beat-em-up game, something Invasion or something? I'm sorry. I forgot about that one. You were asking about a game that exists. My bad. Cosmic Invasion? What's it called? No, Cosmic Invasion is what it's called. Yes, I got it right. Okay, sorry. Cosmic Invasion is one that we saw during Summer Game Fest. No release date, just 2025 to all platforms. Steam, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation. Yeah, they showed Hulk and Rocket. My bad. I've got Marvel Tocone on the brain because that's just the big one. If it's just for 5 years, where were over 300 of the games that came out, some 60, some 30, and some that was hate on very hard because of the gaming community. So it's hard embracing games that speak to the individual, but for me, I'm here to see it all. That sounds great, Collide. So Travis says, what do you think about Outer Worlds 2? I've seen a lot of people saying it looks just like Outer Worlds 1, but more of it. And I'm like, okay, that's what a sequel needs to be. I think the gaming community's analysis of sequels is sometimes incredibly stupid. I couldn't think of a better word. Sorry, I was trying to be nice about it. But no, I think the way the gaming community responds to sequels a lot of times is just stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh, the game did a really good job and people liked it, so they made another one, and you're angry that it looks like a sequel. Okay, like whether it was Ratchet, Horizon, Spider-Man, God of War, this situation with Outer Worlds 2, I'm like, yeah, it's a sequel. What the huh? I think the way people talk about sequels sometimes is just really, really dumb. It's like reductionist. Are you saying I'm being reductionist? I mean, I think it's self-defeating to basically say, you know, the AAA industry is in trouble and budgets are too big and it can't really be afforded. But then when they have success and they then capitalize on that success with a sequel, people get upset. It doesn't make any sense to me. I was thrilled to play Jedi Survivor. Once they fix it, especially. Once they fix the performance issues, I was thrilled to play Jedi Survivor. I mean, I was thrilled to play Horizon Forbidden West and Ragnarok and Spider-Man 2. I was excited. I was like, yeah. I was thrilled to play Hellblade 2, and it wasn't very good. It wasn't a good sequel. I know it's not the same people saying this that also buy Madden every year, but it's funny that both types of people are out there. Well, people know what they want. Okay? This is me going out to eat. Okay? It drives my wife crazy, but Madam and I are very different. Okay? That should be obvious if you've ever watched a stream. Madam likes to sort of roam the menu. So she goes back and she tries to like cycle through 4 or 5 things that she knows she likes. She does the same thing with drinks. When I go to a restaurant, we get to eat out probably once a month, right? We're trying to increase date night. We're trying to do some double dates here and there. But generally speaking, we get to eat out once a month. And I basically get the same thing. Now, sometimes I'll switch, and I did that recently. Like, I switched from this thing to this thing, and then I just get this every time. And then I switched back because we ate 2 weeks in a row. So I went and got my favorite thing, and then I went back and got my previous favorite thing because it had only been a week. And I was like, yeah, let me get my previous favorite thing. And the reason I do that is because like I know I like it, and that the risk of buying something and not enjoying it when you don't get to eat out that often, it just isn't worth it. I think for some people, that's why they just buy the annual release. That's just their game. They don't feel like risking their money on a new experience. They don't feel like risking their money on something that they're not going to enjoy. And so I totally get that. Here's the problem, though. I do think that a lot of the commentary and a lot of the people who are very miserable, there's a lot of miserable gamers out there, which for some of us, it doesn't make any sense. Like we are absolutely swimming in an ocean of what feel like great games. You know? And Stone Spire, I know what he's going to do. Listen, it's time. It's time, boys. The member count's been a little quiet. Stone Spire's going to set up some bait. If you can do a 20 bomb, you better get ready, because whoever gets it is going to win the contest. He's going to bump this to 380, all right? This man is the king of setups. He comes in, and that's what he does. Thank you so much, Stone Spire. I have told people, and there's the other one. Now we're at 379. He's going to do one more. He's hoping for that 20 bomb. Or a tag team 10 bomb dunker. We'll see. I think a lot of people that just sort of live in live service, I really, really want to encourage you to just branch out. Like, one of the best things I ever did was get unjustly banned from Destiny. Like, that was one of the best things that could have ever happened to me. Thank you so much, Stone Spire. There it is. We are officially a 20 bomb away. Whoever hits it gets it. If Twitch hits it, you guys get the gifted members. If YouTube hits it, you get the gifted members. Whoever hits the milestone. Thank you so much, Stone Spire. It allowed me to branch out. It allowed me to play other games. I never would have looped back to Returnal and tried to beat it, and now it's one of my all-time favorite games. I probably wouldn't have had time for something. I would have made time for Ghost of Tsushima. But I wouldn't have branched out into Returnal, and now it's one of my all-time favorite games. I wouldn't have looped back and tried to play Death Stranding a second time. I wouldn't have played Expedition 33. I wouldn't have. So, like, stop playing whatever it is your live service game is and just branch out and try some other games. You would be surprised how liberating it is to be like, I don't have to play every day. I don't have to play every week. I'm going to remove myself from that cycle and just play some other games. Some are just into the gaming discussions rather than playing. That's true, Leo. That's true. We need 8 more likes for 300 likes, guys. Thanks for a strong turnout. I really appreciate all the support today. You wouldn't have played Mindseye. One of the best things I did was stop playing Destiny. Stop playing games that demand your whole life to keep up. I now play things like Final Fantasy 14 and Warframe, but they are nowhere close as demanding as Destiny. Do you remember the head dev of Helldivers 2? He actively said, I want other games to be played. That's how it should be. Don't just play one game. Yeah. They basically designed their game to not be a game you had to play all the time. You know? The director of Final Fantasy 14 even tells people to take a break. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they probably know. They probably know that it's not... It's actually bad for the game in the long term. I think people get more... they get more jaded. And they get more quickly frustrated when they what just happened? Can you guys hear me? I think my camera overheated. Give me a second. No. It didn't overheat. Hang on one second. I think this is something that's been happening with this device. There we go. It was happening with this one. It was happening with this one. I think what it is I think the USB port, it goes dormant or something. There's just been some odd things happening with this rig where, like, I have to go in and disable and enable the Focusrite so that OBS gets my microphone, and then it's fine for the rest of the day. And then periodically, that was happening the one night, I think, when Madam and I were playing Returnal. The one cap card would just stop working, and the cap card was actively working. I had to go into OBS, and I just disable and re-enable it, and it's fine. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Typical PCs. It's just weird. I thought my camera overheated or something because it's been warm in the office. It froze on a very favorable frame. Well, thank goodness for that. Guys, we need 8 more likes for 300 likes. Is the cap card USB? Yes, it is, Demins. Is this the new PC? It is. It's done that since I got it. Just randomly USB devices. It's usually just one. So I wonder if I swapped. I'm pretty sure I put this one on that port that was doing it because I thought if it happens to this camera, it's not that big of a deal. So I need to trace the cables and swap them. And because if it happens on the side camera, like, I don't really care. There's one port, I think, that does it. It just randomly... It's not that the port stops working. It's that I have to go into OBS and, like, reset the device by going, I right-click it, and I go to deactivate, activate, and then it comes right back. Concord 3 is leaked? Really? Wow. Oh, you were here the other day. Here, let's just get ahead of this. I don't actually think that you might be on a new account. I don't care. I don't want you here. When do you think they will announce Halo on PS5? I don't know. Could be a faulty USB port, but you could also get to a point where you have too many devices plugged into a USB controller on your PC. Would you recommend, Demins, just getting a hub to solve that problem? Would that help? Can I buy something that is at the USB level that I need, like just a little hub, and would that solve the issue? Does that like lighten the load for the PC, I guess? I know it's old school, but I would much rather have a true expansion over an update. Paid DLC to me shows faith in the product. A free update doesn't instill faith. Hang on, I forgot to thank Danny. Danny with the VIP. Well, that's not an Agent of Chaos. I'm going to call it an Agent of Chaos. There we go. 381. I'll check on options. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll order something from Amazon right now because I'm getting tired of that. And it literally is every USB port is claimed on this device. Everything is claimed. Like keyboard, mouse, Steam Deck. I mean, it's every single square inch of the dadgum back of the PC's got something plugged into it. You got to go into the devices and right-click all USBs and choose not to sleep. Where would I do that, Wired Rope? Do you think that's what's happening? What are we talking about now? Pretty much all of it. No, left unclogged. Stop. Camille with a question. You mentioned that Halo Master Chief wouldn't do as well on PS5 for a variety of factors. What do you think it would take for Halo to succeed on the PS5? I think a brand new Halo that didn't feel like classic Halo is what's needed. I don't think PlayStation fans are going to clamor around the new Halo if it just feels like a new Halo. I think so many people are going to be like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I know that I don't like Halo. I don't need to play a new one in a newer engine to determine that I still don't like Halo. Think of a game that you don't like right now. A lot of you don't like Call of Duty. Does a newer, flashier, shinier Call of Duty in a new engine, does that suddenly change things for you? Are you suddenly like, oh yeah, I'm ready to get back into Call of Duty? No, it wouldn't. It would have to be completely different. Like, if you haven't played Halo in a long time because you just never really vibed with it, you never really liked it because of the style, because of the movement or whatever, I would say you're not going to win them over with like, yeah, here is a new Halo. It's in a new engine, but it just feels like Halo. We want to make sure that the long-standing Halo fans are happy. Nobody wants to hear this that's a Halo fan, but you guys honestly cannot be a priority for the new game or it won't do well. You can't be a priority. If they give you the game that you want, like, nope, it's got to feel like Halo, then it'll die. Because all the people that have already made up their mind about it would be like, well, yeah, it just looks like another Halo. Same weapons, same enemies, same movement style, same shooting feel. Nope. Nobody will freaking care. They won't. I get a ton of pushback. I've had a ton of people react to my Halo videos about this, and they'll call me an idiot and call me a moron, and it's like, I tell you what, you get your way and the franchise will never ever be anything other than a game that comes out and the core audience plays it, and then they all complain, and then they'll say that it failed for other reasons. They'll never admit that they have rose-colored glasses and that you can't convince people that don't like Halo to like Halo with another Halo. Like, it just doesn't work. You shut your whore mouth. That's right. Yeah. Hilly loves Halo. Haseo submitted a question. When do you think we will hear if the game that's coming next year to see if it's Halo for sure or not? I don't know when we're going to hear about it. I don't know. Mindseye says, we're excited to confirm that that build.mindseye is now fully accessible. We can't wait for you to create. We're also actively resolving any missing DLC entitlements. The first Mindseye review dropped. The action will be passable if it were buoyed by a compelling story, but I ain't gripped so far. That's interesting because the story is the only part that I thought was worth anything. Gears is a day one. We got into an argument about this yesterday, and I have I have very strongly and recently said that Gears of War will be more successful on PlayStation than Halo. Now, a new Halo could completely change the discussion, but like if you take a Halo remaster like Combat Evolved, and you take a Gears of War remaster, Gears of War Reloaded, and you put them up against each other, I think Gears of War Reloaded is going to win. I can be totally wrong here, but that's just been my prediction, is that Gears Reloaded is going to sell better. It will perform better. It will be more popular with the PlayStation audience. I believe the PvP will assist with that. I believe the gameplay will assist with that. The look and the feel will assist with that. I think a Halo Combat Evolved remake, remaster, whatever, coming to PlayStation, I think it'll do fine. I think it will be outperformed by Gears of War. Can anyone ask questions? Just paying members and subs on Twitch can submit questions like that. I obviously will interact with you, Travis. You've been getting a back and forth with me this entire time. But if you want your question featured, you have to be a member. That is a perk of being a member. And Citizen JV submitted one. He says, where do you think id Software could go next after Doom the Dark Age is finally released in terms of reboots? I actually would prefer id to do a brand new IP at this point. I think it's time to set Doom down and do something new. I think they've done a great job. Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, Doom the Dark Ages, great trilogy. Let's get a new IP from id. I bet you they've got some really creative people at the studio that have some great ideas. I mean it. I bet you they've got some... I'm serious. I bet you they've got some people there that have got some banger ideas. Yeah, and their engine's fabulous. Their engine is awesome. I'll just say it. This is going to sound like sacrilege. But the way that they implemented parries and the way that they implemented like some of the melee, I think they could make a killer third-person game. A killer third-person game. I know that's sacrilegious to say. That's blasphemous to say that like id Software should make a game that's not first-person. But I'm here to tell you, I think they've got the chops to do it. Did you see some of the movement of the enemies in Dark Ages? It's almost like they want to. Again, I know this is sacrilegious. I know this is blasphemous. But if you look at the enemy movement, the bullet hell, the parries, I'm serious. I think they could make an absolutely killer third-person game, and it almost feels like they wanted to. It feels like Dark Ages is like, it's like them, dipping their toe in the water. You know what I mean? Nick says, I agree. Zubair says, Heresy, Lono's asking for it today. They're so good. They're so good at what they do. Turn them loose on a grisly third-person game. The violence, the executions, the combat, it could be amazing. Oh my gosh, they could build an amazing game. And I know people are going to say, we're swimming in an ocean of like third-person games like that. And you're not necessarily wrong. You're not necessarily wrong. But good golly, I think they could make an absolutely killer game. I really do. I think they could make a killer game. Have you seen the previews for Ninja Gaiden 4? Is it something you'd be into? I haven't looked at them. Have they spoken at all to like the camera? Does it feel like more of like a modern like third-person action game, or is it still doing the fixed camera thing? The fixed camera thing in Ninja Gaiden Black, I couldn't do it. It drove me crazy. I played for 15 minutes. I was like, I'm gonna hate this. I just couldn't do it. It's like I just did not like it at all. I think they can do it, says AOZ, but third person is harder to make than first person. It has lock on. They learned. Okay, so they added lock on. That's a plus. Is the camera fixed though? The fixed camera and the lack of lock on, I felt like I was playing a super dated game. I did not like it. Space Marine 2's blend of melee and gun combat makes me really want more games like that. Oh, I agree with you. Yes, no, that I totally agree with you. That Space Marine 2 could really inspire a bunch of really dope games in the future, because we really don't have a lot of games like that. A lot of games are either one or the other. Like, even Gears, you're not really combining melee and shooting. Like, you have a melee, you have the chainsaw, but not the way that they implemented it in Space Marine 2 felt amazing. IGN was able to move the camera during a wall run, I believe. It looked like it was still fixed, says Chaotic. We'll see. It's just a Gears of War Ultimate. Personally, give me remake of Halo 1. Oh. Yeah, I can RSVP to this. Is that this Sunday? It's this Sunday. We have an RSVP system for if you have to serve in nursery. And it's really efficient. Like you get scheduled and you know you're there, you know you're helping. But I have to RSVP. I didn't know that. A lot of new subs today on YouTube. Thank you for that. I appreciate that very, very much. If Platinum is working on the game, the odds are the camera is not fixed. Okay. Jaster's asking a question that I've seen asked many times, and I like this one. I like this one. It's for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to be getting grabbed by Nightbot. It didn't get grabbed by Nightbot. Shoot. Well, let's discuss it anyway. Jaster says, what if they gave Halo to id Software? I would get behind that. I would get behind that because, okay, so something that I argued in a video that got a lot of hate from the Halo community. I used Doom as an example, and I think a lot of them misunderstood, and they thought that, like, I wanted them to make Halo into Doom, and they don't understand, you know, the argument. The argument was id Software honored Doom with Doom 2016. They honored it. Okay? It was connected to it, but it wasn't tethered to it. And I said you should do the same thing with Halo. Honor Halo, honor where you've come from. It should look like Halo, but do not be tethered to it. Like, the principle being, it can smell like and look like Doom, but buddy, it's got to feel like something that isn't from the 90s, right? Because Doom's, so old. So that was my argument, was that Doom was honored and, very much, I think, seen and felt in Doom 2016. But Doom 2016 is not like tethered to the classic Doom feel. And I think that that's what they should do with Halo. Honor Halo, the look and the feel of the classic, but just don't be tethered to it. It's got to feel and look like a game from today. Because I don't think Halo does. Yo, it's good, John Lepkowski. Do you believe the game should be out for a little while before it announces a season pass? Do you think a season pass before the game is out says incomplete game? No, I think that in a similar way, people will say things like day one patches are one of the, it's just such a sign of where the industry is. Golly. Yeah. I'm not playing referee right now, so I literally can't ref, so you guys have to negotiate this on your own. Okay, let me ask a question. What have you watched up to now? You watched one show that had 3 shows in one. What did Mama say you guys were supposed to do? She said you could watch a movie?
Well, she didn't say no to shows.
Okay, she didn't say no to shows is not permission. Don't pull loophole with me. That's a loophole. You're playing loopholes. No. That's not permission. Okay? You guys are playing loopholes. I think, how many shows have you watched? Then I think that's a perfect time to be done.
No! We have to watch shows.
I'm going to strongly encourage you to not. There, the door is shut. Okay. They're growing up too fast. Yeah. Mama didn't say they couldn't watch shows, so they just continued to watch shows after the movie. It's like, we always do, was the argument. It's like, okay. Hang on one second. There is a brewing debate about length of shows. Sounds like a preteen daughter not getting her way. I can relate. No. It's everything's got to be exactly even. Everything's got to be exactly even. Shows are so overstimulating that to have to stop is always just pure pain. And it's like, you've watched enough. You've got to be done. And it's like, you can't reason with them. They're in that emotional state. And it's like, you got to stop. You got to let this one go. Thank you, QBZ. Door slamming is the biggest parenting trigger. Well, and that I was just gonna overlook. I'm like, okay, fine. But when I go out and I can't even reason with you, it's like I'm talking to, I'm talking to just an emotional ball of energy. And it's like, well, this is a waste of time. Thank you, QBZ, for renewing your member plus. Yeah. Kids will be kids. This is why we limit screen time. The come down from screen time is terrible. It's the worst. It's like, who is this? You're not my child. What is happening? I deal with that as well. Everything has to be exact 100% or the world's ending. Yeah. That's why we limit screen time. It's like, as soon as screen time's over, there's like an hour of like, who are you? They have to like almost like detox from it. What are some hidden gems on PS4 and PS5 that I need to download? I mean, a hidden PS4 gem, I don't know if these would be hidden, but if you haven't played God of War 2018, it's phenomenal on the PS5 because they updated it. Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 1 and 2 with the remake and the remaster are amazing. Days Gone gets overlooked quite a bit, so you could check out that remaster. Horizon Zero Dawn's remaster. Bloodborne, if you're okay with 30 FPS. Yeah. Those are all, to me, I don't know if those are hidden gems, but you may have skipped them. I don't know if you're like a late adopter or something to PlayStation. Kana Bridge of Spirits is good. Hidden gem, I don't know. The combat still was not what I wanted from it. The combat progressively got worse. I felt like the combat got progressively worse in Kana. Like, the more they tried to give bosses stuff, it was just not fun. Like, she just felt too limited. I don't know. There was some really dumb things they did with the camera. There were bosses that would disappear, and it would break targeting. So then they would come back, and you like couldn't target them right away, and like you'd get turned around, they'd get behind you. John Lepkowski, thank you for the gifted member. That takes us to 383. Thank you very, very much. You really enjoyed Kana? I didn't dislike my time with Kana. I just felt like it kind of crash landed at the end. It didn't feel like a smooth landing at all. It was like the boss fights became less and less enjoyable as time went on. Guardians of the Galaxy? Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy got overlooked because they didn't look like the movie characters. So a lot of people were like, that doesn't look like the Guardians, because that was what they thought the Guardians of the Galaxy looked like, even though they were like comic book accurate Guardians. Also, Marvel games had a pretty bad track record, you know. You're right, but I still liked it. Yeah, I didn't dislike Kana. I was just kind of disappointed in how it ended. I felt the same way with Doom. I felt like Doom the Dark Ages crash landed as well. It was like they didn't know how to escalate the combat without just making it all about parrying. And I thought, oh, good golly. Fans of Doom are probably in agreement with me about how the final boss fights go. It's just, it literally feels like the reverse of a shooting gallery. It's like I'm on the other end of a shooting gallery and I just got to parry, and like that's how you win. It was very unsatisfying. Open world killed it. Open world aspects of Doom killed it, or because Kana. Yeah, the open world aspects of Doom, the big levels, I didn't think they worked well. South of Midnight is almost a split rip-off of Kana Bridge of Spirits. That's not even really remotely true. Did you see the hands-on of RE9? No, I did not. I've heard that they're out there. If you like Returnal, will you play the new game Sorrows? I will. It's one of my most anticipated games. Yes. Yeah, Returnal's one of my all-time favorite games. Heard RE9's pretty scary. Have they indicated, is it closer to RE7, RE9? Are they relating RE9, RE8? Is RE9 closer to 7 or 8? Have they indicated that in the previews or the hands-on? Like, or is it just going to be its own new thing? Because I think RE8 was like a more of a return to classic, more of a return to a classic feel, and like RE7 is sort of the standout. But RE7 was the first Resident Evil I ever played, and so I loved it. I thought I would hate Returnal because I don't like roguelikes. I hated roguelikes, and then I played Returnal, and it kind of opened my eyes as to why they can be fun. I had fun with Binding of Isaac, but it never really turned me into a rogue fan. I got burned out on the 5th biome on Returnal a while ago. The 5th biome can be a bit of a nut kick, but 4th biome is my favorite. If you really gear up in the 4th biome, you should be able to take the 5th biome slow. Take it slow, and survive. From what Maximilian says, it's more Alien Isolation. That's not what I want to hear. I know people love Alien Isolation. I didn't like it. The whole running away and hiding thing drives me nuts. That doesn't evoke scare. It doesn't. Yeah, I think you guys have watched enough. What does he want to watch? What's it called? Bluey's are 8 minutes. So that times 3 is the same as the Chip and Dale. Do you think you deserve to watch it after what you did? Because I don't. Can you watch just one of them instead of all 3? Can we compromise? You can't. You can just shut it off. Well, right now it's even, and you're disrupting my show. It's even. You guys have got to watch an even amount. So I think it makes sense to just either that or you can only watch one of them. I don't want you watching all 3. That's too long. Yeah, when it switches to the new one, you just turn it off. You're not stuck. I understand that. Yes, you would pause it. No, you don't need to bounce back and forth. You either need to be done or just watch one of them. I think you should just be done. If it's not fair, it's not fair. That's the way it is. No. You would watch a single. It's okay for it to not be fair. The Chip and Dale ones are super short, aren't they?
No, they're like 30 minutes.
No, not the whole thing. One of them. One of them. No, you're not bouncing back and forth. One of the Chip and Dales, one of the Blueys, and then you're done. You're not watching the full Chip and Dale. You're not tussling me. It's one.
Next time we watch movies, we've never stopped watching movies. We watched we've watched all of them like 20 times or 30.
I would take the win and end this conversation.
Yeah, but could you tell them to stop watching movies?
I would take the win. Chip and Dale. Well, the new show is like it honestly feels a little bit like SpongeBob, Ren and Stimpy inspired, and they do like 3 episodes in one. They do 3 in one. So it's like 25 minutes, and it goes, there's an episode, and then it like rolls credits, and then another one, and then it rolls credits and another one. And I was stressing them, just do the one, and then stop. And they're like, but we can't. I'm like, yes, you can. You just turn it off. You just turn it off. And then it was, well, that's not fair, because I need to be able to watch a Bluey if he gets to watch a Chippendale. I'm like, okay, you each get one more, and then that's it. Take the win and get out of my office. Oh, my golly. I was choosing the path of least resistance. What I really wanted to say is, you're done, go upstairs. But that would have turned the house into bedlam, and my poor wife would have come home to that. So I was being calculating. I was like, okay, what is the least amount that will yield the best results for my wife when they get home? When she gets home, I'm sorry. A super chat from Jack Garland says, tell those kids to behave or you'll make them play Mindseye. Sun Tzu would be proud. Yes. There was a lot of tactical firings in my brain. It was like, what I really wanted to say is, you're done, go upstairs and get out of my office. You've watched plenty. But then I'm handing my poor wife bedlam as a greeting. She'll come home and they would be upstairs just cat and dog fighting. So it's like, figured it out. 5 spot from Talika. Super chat to celebrate insurance approving my power chair. Hey! Congrats, Talika. Let's get some hype in chat. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, man. These insurance companies can be freaking terrible. Especially to our veterans and especially to folks who have some sort of an impairment. They can give you guys the runaround, and it's nasty. So that's awesome. Just to be fair, your wife did not tell them that they couldn't have candy all day. As a man who argues for the pedantic, excruciating minutia, you should appreciate that argument. Nova, listen to me, and listen to me very carefully. Fuck you. They are both very, very good at argumentation. And I admire and hate it at the exact same time. I'm like, this is going to take you far in life, but just shut the frick up. Just eat your food. Just do it. I've been trying to play Hollow Knight, says Sven. This is like my 3rd time trying again. I'm really not a fan of how aimless it feels at the beginning. Yes. No. That's why I fall started. Sven, you have to watch a beginner's guide. Get the quill and the compass, and you can get into it. Get the quill and the compass, and you can get into it. I did the same thing. I felt aimless. I got mobbed or killed by a mini boss and had to retread this whole area, and I was so furious. And then somebody was like, no, I'm gonna help you. I streamed it. They helped me. I got the items, and I was good. It's one of my favorite games. Siri with a $5 super chat. The kids didn't sign an NDA, so you can't tell them what to do. Listen. They're going to be very disappointed that Farty Bomb didn't turn into an emote. You guys didn't raise the bat signal high enough. So, you know. Debates at Lono's house become Mexican standoff. Yeah, dude. I can tell how good the day has gone when I come upstairs by the degree to which my wife has disowned the children. Yeah. There are degrees of disownment. So I'll come up and it will be your son, your daughter. So that's pretty low level. She's kind of disowning them. They're now mine. The next level will be your children. So now it's collective disownment. It's not just one of them. It's both. That's really bad. But the worst, the most extreme level of her disowning them is those people. And it's really bad if she says these people, because then I'm included in that. She's like, I gotta feed these people. So if she starts cursing in Russian, run. That's right. Yeah. So there are degrees of disownment that my wife sort of has, and then I know how bad the day has gone. Yeah. these children. No, she just jumps to those people. She's like, you better get those people in order out there. And I'm like, oh boy. Yep. It's only when they do bad things. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When they have been bad, they are my children. When they've been great, they're hers. That's right. That's in the contract. That's in the contract. We all agreed to that. Happy life, happy life. That's exactly right. That's why my children are getting to watch more TV right now. No, she never refers to them as its. No. No, she doesn't go that far. My wife had my "this crap will get fixed now and I will not be the one to do it" moments with my family. And my wife says the boy, I know he's done something stupid. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. The boy. Yeah. She refers to him as the baby, because he is. He's the baby of the house. He'll always be the baby. I'm trying to think. Do we talk about the other topics at all? I know we talked Mindseye to death. We talked Halo on PS5. What was the other one? Oh, the Ben Studio layoffs. There's not much to say there other than like it reinforces my opinion. It reinforces my opinion that they should not be tasking their single player studios to build live service. It's like the odds of them getting it right, the odds of them figuring it out has to just be so low. Like if you have no experience in the genre, it's like what they did with Helldivers and what they're doing with Marvel Tokone makes the most sense to me. Get somebody who's experienced either in the genre that you want, right? They're either experienced in the genre, and so they know how to build it, or they're experienced with ongoing content models. You see what I'm saying? Like these 40 people got laid off because PlayStation, I think, was foolish and thought, oh yeah, we can just, anybody can build a live service game, right? No, Bungie proved that with Naughty Dog. Naughty Dogs are great. Con, not cone. No, I looked the word up. It's pronounced Tokone. I looked it up. Unless I got a bad hit in my search. Cone, like konnichiwa. You don't say konnichiwa, you say konnichiwa. Tokone. Oh, they're saying the toe is like moon. Two-cone. I thought it was Tokone. And they're saying, the AI is saying you would say the T-O-H like two, like in moon. Two-cone. Marvel two-cone. I don't... Remember there's a video of the dev saying the name? Learn how to pronounce it in Japanese. A mail from Japan. Hang on, let's see if this one works. The lady says it in the trailer? Really?
Tokone.
Tokone. That sounds like what I was saying. Nintendo Switch 2 performance is closer to the Xbox Series S, says Koei Tecmo. Just say fighting souls, not fighting spirits. Which trailer, Lord Horg, does she say it in? Snow cone, toe cone. The announcement at the end. Marvel Tokon. She says Mabri Tokon. Yeah, that's Tokon. Like, I'm saying Tokon. I'm saying it very English accent, but that pronunciation is what I've been saying, Tokon. Like toe on your foot and a cone. Toe cone. I mean, I don't speak Japanese, so like I'm about as close as you're probably going to get. I'm about as close as you're going to get. Just going for the pure phonetics of it. Question here from Citizen JV. If you're a fan of horror games, which one do you like the most, Resident Evil or Silent Hill? I really upset people, I guess, when I say this. Okay, so Outlast and Silent Hill, when I play the remake, if I can't get scared, like if I can't get into the immersion of being scared, I have no interest in those games. Like, I don't think I'm not saying Silent Hill is like a bad game. I'm saying the only reason I would play a game like that is to get immersed psychologically into it to the point that I'm scared. Like when I played Layers of Fear or Resident Evil 7. Layers of Fear and like Resident Evil 7 are two games that when I played them through the first time, I absolutely loved them. Like, I absolutely loved them. I thought they were so great. And then I tried a game called Outlast, didn't like it, didn't feel like it was scary. I tried Alien Isolation, and I felt the same way. I'm like, I'm not scared, so my enjoyment factor goes down. Like, the actual mechanics of the game and what you do, to me, is not enjoyable. I don't like it. I'm like, I'm just trying to sneak past something. It doesn't feel scary. It's actually Toucan. No, it's not. We just listened to the official trailer, and she says Tokon. So they're saying it wrong in the official trailer. That's a bit ridiculous to claim. I mean, Oh, you're kidding. I was like, I thought you were being serious. I found a website that pronounced it Tokon, and then she pronounced it Tokon in the trailer. So yeah. So like I don't get why it's so problematic, and like I get so criticized as being like a tourist and a non-gamer because like I'm just honest about games that I don't like. Like, do you like every single game that comes out? Like these freaking weirdos. It's like, what? There's got to be games that you don't like. It's got to be games that you don't like. You know, like I love Sundered and Hollow Knight and both the Ori games, but I'm also loving Expedition 33. I also loved Doom. I also loved Death Stranding. I also loved Returnal and Ghost of Tsushima. But then I played a game like Silent Hill and I played Outlast, and I'm like, I don't like this. I can't really get into it. It's just not my vibe. I can't get immersed into the scary aspect of it, and if I can't get immersed into the scary aspect of it, I feel like I'm just playing a really, really slow plotting game with mechanics of like, you got to get past this guy, figure it out. And I'm like, that's not that exciting to me. I don't want to do that. Survival horror is not your jam. Right, like it doesn't speak to a part of my brain that makes me want to keep going. Resident Evil 7 was like the right balance to me. There were elements of survival. There were elements of like the jump scares and feeling scared and feeling terrified. I also thought the story was incredible and the voice acting was incredible. Silent Hill is more psychologically creepy game than horror. Yeah, Outlast gets repetitive. As soon as I got stuck and couldn't get past a guy in a basement, I wasn't scared. I was annoyed and trying to interact with the mechanic. I felt the exact same way in Layers of Fear 2. In Layers of Fear 2, there are moments you can fail and you got to start over. Well, the minute you have to play through something 2 or 3 times, you're no longer scared. You're thinking about the mechanic. Immersion broken. I'm playing a video game. Layers of Fear 1, I never once felt that way. I felt scared and terrified the entire time. That dread of not wanting to go into the next room or the next thing, but you know you have to. About Alan Wake 2, I keep forgetting I have to try it. Alan Wake 2, I think I could enjoy it, but I need to be able to play for longer play sessions. That's a really hard game to play for like 30, 45 minutes or an hour. Some of my play sessions in the evening, they get cut short, and that's just not a game to do that with. Like, if you do that with that game, you're going to run the risk of having, like, I anticipated, like, I'm not going to enjoy this. I'm going to have a bad time. I need to be able to put long play sessions into it. So it just sort of, it'll probably just permanently sit, it'll probably permanently sit on a, on the shelf, on my backlog shelf. Until Dawn and the Quarry. I love those games. I love playing those games with my wife. We have an entire playthrough of Until Dawn and the Quarry on this channel for members on YouTube. Are you interested in the co-op Remedy game? I told people to pay attention to that one. I thought it had potential. I got to play. They were doing like one of their tests or whatever. I don't know. I would need another play session with it before I could really make up my mind. I'm not sure. Quarry Director Mode every Halloween. We like that game. What's Director Mode? Silent Hill is still horror. I would say Silent Hill is closer to what horror is than RE. Good horror is less about jump scares and more about creepiness and the crushing feeling in your chest. That just sounds like your own subjective definition, which is fine. If that helps you pick games or skip games, that's beneficial. But I don't. That seems like a very personalized definition. Are we playing Lego Party when it comes out? Oh, you better believe it. It's basically Mario Party with Legos. My kids are going to love that. I'm going to love that. It looks like a freaking blast. In RE, you basically have superpowers. It's not really horror. It's action. I don't care to defend the definition or get into a definition discussion. I just know what I like and what I don't like. That's more important to me. And when the game isn't scary, I just feel like I'm interacting with mechanics. Oh, that guy's in my way. I have to get past him. That's not exciting for me. It's boring. It's like, okay, I got to kite him around the room. You don't want to fight everybody, right? So you kite him around the room. Okay, I got past him. I got the stuff. Okay, now I have to fight him. I got to hit him 7 times to knock him down. And now I can get out. That's boring. I'm not immersed. I don't care. The story's not interesting to me. I'm like, Alien Isolation felt the same way. It was like, oh, I've got to go hide. Okay, now he's gone. Now I can get past him. I can hit the switch. Okay, now I got to go back. People love Alien Isolation. People love Silent Hill. My brain just never gets into gear. All I see are the mechanics. My brain immediately strips down the game to its mechanics, and I'm just bored. That's a personalized thing. I've never once besmirched those games and said they were bad. I've only said I can't enjoy them. I know that's upsetting for people, and they get really mad, and I get attacked for saying it. I get clipped for saying it, but it's like I don't know why people so just openly admit that they're insecure little boys. It's like, me not liking a game should not be this upsetting, and that it just shouldn't even be that interesting. It just isn't that interesting. It's like, yeah, I just don't like them. I've never once been like, yeah, they're bad, they suck. I'm like, nah, I just don't like them. Did you ever play Subnautica? No, I never got into Subnautica. Sim games like that, I usually don't feel any pull for. The RPG discussion in another trench coat is back. That's what it feels like, yeah. Subnautica isn't really a sim, it's a survival. I think that's what I meant to say. I meant to say survival, sorry. Not sim, but like sim survival, yeah. I'm more offended when Lono likes the game. Baldur's Gate 3 changed my life, but it's not your speed and too demanding for you. Not offended in the slightest. And I can see the quality in that game. The reason people don't like it, if you don't like what they like, it's because they feel their taste and preference is not affirmed. I think a lot of it's driven by a false narrative that they try to maintain about me, that I don't play games and I'm a tourist. The way that people talk to me on Twitter, I'll periodically see it, and it's like, you're out here literally getting propagandized about a stranger on the internet. Like, how dumb could you be? Like, you literally are believing people that I don't play games, I'm a tourist. And they'll use those instances. Anytime I say I don't like a game, they're like, does this guy play anything? Does he like anything? And it's like, yeah, I actually play a lot and roll credits on a lot, but I also know what I like and what I don't like. I'm not a weird sycophant, like, who begs for the attention of YouTubers on Twitter. Like, that's a weird video game to play every day. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of it's driven by a false narrative. They have a personal issue with me, and so anytime I say I don't like a game, it becomes evidence of that I'm a tourist. Like, I can't imagine being so personally invested in disliking somebody that I spend my days doing that. Like, ignore every game I like, ignore every game I play, ignore every game I roll credits on, and only fixate on the games that I don't play. So you give people a very one-sided shade of color about me. So anytime I come up in those circles of people that don't like me, it's he's a tourist that doesn't play games. And it's just like that. The behavior is so bizarre. Like, it's just there's zero self-awareness and it's so unhealthy. It's like, why do you care what I do? What does it matter? Now, if I was claiming that I was playing games and not playing them, or I was claiming to be an expert on games and not playing them, well, then you'd have an argument. You game more than I do? I game as much as I possibly can. Like, I literally squeeze every minute out of my schedule that I can so that I can actually finish games and play them. It's why I went back to Death Stranding 1. It's like, I've got to play Death Stranding 2. I've got to. That looks like it could be Game of the Year. I've got to play Expedition 33. I want to be able to talk about these games with experience. They expect you to play games you don't like. Well, it's selective. Right? So what they're doing is they're trying to maintain a narrative that he's a fraud and a grifter and he doesn't play games. So they'll cherry pick and they'll be like, here are all the games that he says he doesn't like. Somebody that, like, I kind of got into it with it once, and then she stopped by and was nice, and we kind of buried the hatchet. Even she looked into it and she's like, we've all been lied to. He does play games. He completes games. Like, even she called that out. She was like, he plays games. We've been lied to about this guy. Like, all you've got to do is ask me how many games I've rolled credits on just this year alone, and my list is longer than the average gamer because I do this for a living, and I took the time and the effort to carve out time on my schedule to do that. Now, there were a couple of years where I played less games, and that was because we were in a total rebuild phase. We were trying to rebuild my entire brand and channel because I had my entire life detonated. And none of these people know that. They just think, oh, well, yeah, he's a grifter. He suddenly showed up and has people watching him because he's console warring. And it's like, they don't know my story. So that was the assumption they all came to. It was like, no, I'm completely rebuilding into variety coverage. And it didn't leave a lot of time to play games. It didn't. Yeah, it was Erica. Yeah. It's like, if anybody actually takes the time to investigate my opinions and things I've said or my content, it's like to claim that I'm a console warring grifter, it is just, it's as stupid as the person that called me a woke loser. It's like, you're literally just speaking about a mirage, a figment of your imagination. That channel doesn't even exist. Like, you can't come to my channel and make that argument. Like, if you look at my most popular videos and streams, it's like, that's not even remotely what this channel gets traction with or coverage from. Your time as a Destiny streamer doesn't count, though to be fair, you can't expect everyone to know that. Well, and this is why I try to give people my history sometimes. I'm like, yes, I missed out on a ton of games because for 5 years, all I did was play and cover Destiny. I very rarely got to play anything else. So I missed a bunch of games. That doesn't make me a tourist. I was a one-game content creator, and so you have to give everything to that game for the most part. It's honestly not healthy because then you miss out on a bunch of great games. Also, I didn't play any of the classic PlayStation games because I was an Xbox guy. So it's like, yeah, I'm unfamiliar with a lot of the classic PlayStation games. I don't have a history. I don't have nostalgia for a lot of the classic PlayStation games because I was an Xbox guy. So of course, what they'll do is, because they're dishonest, they're liars. They have no integrity. They have no character, right? These people are scum, okay? And so what they'll do is they'll twist everything to fit their narrative. Oh, well, he hasn't played a lot of those PlayStation games because he's a fraud and a tourist. Instead of being like, oh, well, actually, he was always on the Xbox and he's got a huge library of Xbox games and he's got like 111 hours in Fallout 4 and like all this time in games like Gears and stuff on his Xbox because he was an Xbox guy. There's a reason why I didn't play a lot of those PlayStation games. The reason they don't want you to know that is they don't want you to know that I actually switched from Xbox to PlayStation because of my own choices and because of what I liked, not because I was some pony. So, like, it's just disruptive to their narrative. It's like, well, we try to call him a grifting, dishonest, lying, Xbox-hating pony. That doesn't really work when you actually know my history with Xbox, the 360, the Kinect camera is how I started streaming. It's like my streaming career started with Ori on the Xbox, Borderlands on the Xbox, Destiny on the Xbox. They don't want you to know that because they're liars. Like, that doesn't work. That doesn't work with this narrative that, like, he's just some, dyed-in-the-wool Xbox-hating pony. They do not want you to know those things because they're no different than the people who canceled me in 2020. They didn't want you to know the truth, so they constantly had to do all this like reinforcement of labels and don't listen to him. He's brainwashing people with facts and evidence. That's how you brainwash people. They're exactly the same. They think they're not the same, but they are exactly the same as the absolute scum in 2020 that did the same thing. Like, they're no different. You got to maintain the false narrative so you ignore all of the facts and truth and you just slant things. How dare you switched, or how dare you switched. Xbox is what got me back into console gaming. I couldn't play Gears of War 1 or Call of Duty 4 on my PC. I couldn't play them. So I bought a 360 so that I could play them. And I loved every minute of it. That's why I'm super excited about the Gears of War remaster. Like, I'm really excited about Gears of War because that was like the first console game I played coming back to consoles. I was raised in a Nintendo home, and then I built my own PC and other PCs for people in high school and college, and was big on PC land. I got married. I was not in a place to completely update my entire rig. It was cheaper to buy a console. Bought a console so I could play Call of Duty 4 and Gears of War. And then I bought the Xbox One. That's where I played all my Call of Duties. That's where I started my streaming career. That's where I played Destiny. I got a PS4 sent to me so that I could make Destiny characters on my PS4. And then I got a PS4 Pro so that I could play Spider-Man and God of War. And then when I came into this gen, I was all about Xbox because I started playing Destiny and Fortnite on my PC because I wanted 60 FPS. So 2017... all the way to 2020, I was back primarily gaming on a PC. And then when the Xbox Series X got announced, I was thrilled. I was like, I'm going back home. I'm going back to Xbox. And then this gen, Xbox was terrible for the first 4 years. And I just gravitated towards PlayStation because they had Returnal and Ratchet and God of War and Spider-Man and Horizon. And then I was able to play games like Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, which is one of my all-time favorite games. Returnal's one of my all-time favorite games. And the argument that there was a guy on Twitter today telling me that, like, well, Xbox is carrying PlayStation because PlayStation has no games. And it's like, you're literally doing that like really embarrassing thing that you guys lost like 7 innings in a row, and now because you've started to put points on the board, you want to take a slice. They want to take like a 7-month slice and act like that's the whole gen. Xbox is carrying PlayStation. It's like, you're only going to count 7 months. Xbox is basically asleep for 4 years, and then now you want to keep score? We're going to ignore the entire lopsided feel of the gen for the first 3 to 4 years? It's like they only want to keep score right now. We're going to ignore Death Stranding 2 and Yote and Lost Soul aside. We're just going to ignore those games. They're not coming. We're going to ignore Intergalactic and Sorrows and Phantom Blade Zero. We're just going to ignore those games. Those games don't exist. They're not coming. It's like you finally have a good 7-month stretch with Xbox, and now you want to claim victory. It's just stupid. It's like I told him, I was like, nobody cares about this. Like, you're keeping score in a console war that's not even happening anymore. There is no console war. What's an Xbox game? What's an Xbox game? They're just Sega to me now. They're just another game company that publishes cool games, and sometimes they don't. But like, I enjoyed Doom quite a bit. Are they possibly calling your switch to PlayStation part of your grifter behavior? No, the claim of grifter came from Xbox fans who didn't know who I was. They saw me arguing rather strongly against the ABK deal, and they assumed I was just grifting on the console war. It's like, no, I'm a long-standing streamer with experience in this industry, and I don't agree with this. They couldn't view it any other way. Why? Because that's how they viewed it. They viewed the ABK deal through the lens of tribalism because they are very simplistic thinkers. They're simpletons. So they thought, well, surely that's what he's doing. He's like me. He's just another person out here who's doing this because of tribalism. And it's like, no, I'm actually a long-standing Xbox guy, and I don't think this is good for the industry. I literally worked through consolidation at cell phone companies. I saw it happen to my dad's company, and I knew what it did, and I knew what the results would be, and I was principally against it. It was a principled position. It was logical. It was based on history. It was based on basic, I don't know. If you have any modicum of business intelligence, you knew that it was not a good idea. Even people that cheered for it started to say they thought it was a mistake in the aftermath. I don't think they think that highly of it now either. But that was their only way to view it. They're like, oh, he's console warring like me. He's just grifting. He was never talking about this. He's only talking about it now because it's hot. And it's like, no, I had to rebuild my entire career in variety gaming coverage. So that was the hottest topic in variety gaming coverage. What was I not going to cover it because what you weird tribalistic jealous people got there first? I had a guy complaining that like, oh, I was talking about this before he was. Like, he was mad basically that I was being more successful talking about it. And that's why they accused me of grifting. Because grifting in their mind is just somebody capitalizing on the topic, but they don't really care about the topic, which there's plenty of people that do that. It's like, what do you mean? How can I not care about the topic? I've been gaming since the original Nintendo and Coleco. Obviously, I care about this topic. Yo, thank you, Akuda Papa with a VIP. Hope streaming's going well. Thank you for 45 months. And that gets us to 384. ABK made them all wacky. Well, and that's what's so funny to me. It's like, to strike out that much, to be wrong that much, but to still go back and act like, yeah, you were just being a grifting pony. It's like, no, I had that thing, I had that coverage, and I had my take locked in. Just, I had that whole thing dead to rights, and all you guys got out of it was a Sega pivot from Xbox, closed studios, and basically the death of the brand that you cheered for. Whatever it is now, the edifice that has been erected from the rubble of the Xbox brand, it's not what you were cheering for. Yo, you got promoted, Hilly? You're off to a posh dinner. Congrats, Hilly. Feelings over logic? Yeah. ABK killed what little I enjoyed of Xbox. Congrats, Hilly. That's awesome, dude. They cheered on a business deal and expected a gaming-focused result. That's exactly right. That's well stated and well summarized. You have the gift of gab, Lono. Some do not, and I imagine they can't handle that. You guys have heard me say this many, many times. I never would have imagined, like, being a very verbose and, talkative, passionate, I'm a debater. I love to argue. I never would have imagined I'd be a villain in so many people's, like, worlds. I just... There are really scummy, really horrible streamers out there. And me, like the safer work family guy, working this thing to provide for my family. And I've got opinions on the industry that they don't agree with. And they turn me into the most vile villain to ever walk the earth. A lying, grifting, just horrible person. It's like, good golly. I'm actually sort of boring. I'm sort of boring. I don't do like drama farm. I'm not like pulling up people's content and making fun of them. My takes are passionate, but even my takes aren't that outlandish. Like, you love to argue? No way. I would have thought otherwise. Shut up, ADJZ. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to consoles. I don't buy Nintendo for Xbox or PlayStation IP. I don't buy Xbox for PlayStation and Nintendo IP. I don't buy PlayStation for Xbox or Nintendo IP. Yeah, but going forward, though, General Gorilla, don't you feel a general disinterest in Xbox hardware? Like, what would be the reason? I had a guy tell me today, and he was like, oh, I'm going to have somebody put together an edit of you constantly telling people to buy a PS5. And I'm like, yeah, you can constantly take clips out of context where I tell people that the two best options right now for investment if you're buying new hardware is either a PC or a PlayStation 5 Pro. I think those are your two best options. And this guy's out here like, you're constantly telling people to buy a PS5. I'm like, no, I tell people it depends on what you want. I have people come in and they try to bait me into saying that I know what they're doing. They're like, do you think I should buy a PS5 or a PC? And I never give them the answer that they want. I'm like, it depends on what you value. It depends on what you want out of it. A PC might be a terrible choice for you. A PlayStation might be a terrible choice for you. It depends on what your values are. It depends on what your budget is. For some people, a PC would be a terrible investment. For others, it would be an incredible investment. But I have, yes, concluded and told people investing in Xbox hardware doesn't make any sense right now. It doesn't. If you buy a PC, you get all the Xbox games, you eventually get some of the PlayStation exclusives, and you have an ocean of AA and indie titles that nobody else can get. That's great value. If you buy a PlayStation, you get all of Xbox's titles, you get a decent amount of the AA and indies that come over, and you get all the PlayStation exclusives the day they land. You don't have to wait to play Yote, you don't have to wait to play Death Stranding 2. Both of those options are great. The Xbox doesn't make any sense. If you buy the Xbox, you're not going to get any of the PlayStation games. You're not going to get some of the AA's and the indies. So it's like you're just limiting yourself significantly by buying Xbox hardware at this point. That getting turned into you're a grifter, you're a fanboy, you console war, and you tell people to buy PlayStations all the time. It's like, man, I can't help people that are that dumb. I really can't. I lack the ability. I don't have a dry erase board or paper and crayons to try to teach you that that's a nuanced position to talk about how like a PC is a great option, a PlayStation's a great option. The option that makes the least amount of sense right now is Xbox hardware. And their brain can't compute that. They're just like, you're just a console warrior and you tell people to buy PlayStations. It's like, okay. You're living in a dream world, mate. Like, that's not even reality. Some people aren't worth trying to convince. Yeah, I told him, I was like, I've had my fun with you. Have fun seething in the shadows. Like, I just mute people like that. It's like, I'll never have to hear or see your absolutely brain dead inane takes ever again. It's no different than, like, talking and getting into an argument with a guy in a street corner who's like, the world is ending this afternoon. It's like, why debate that guy? He's delusional. They're delusional. Should I buy a Nokia Taco or a Sega Lynx? I tell you what we're going to do. I'll let you guys extend if you scramble, but you're going to have to scramble. in 6 minutes, we're going to go ahead and shift gears, but we only need 16 more members to hit 400. Let's try to end way ahead on pace. Let's try to end on 400 today. And whoever hits it gets it. I'll give you the 5 that I owe. And I think I owe 5 to YouTube, don't I? Or did I do it? I can't remember if I did it or not. I didn't do it. I owe 5 to YouTube. So let's try to scramble. 16's a quick scramble. That's light work for y'all. But I do owe you guys 5. So I'll try to stoke the fires and get it moving now. And then if we hit it, we'll extend. If not, we'll just go right to green room. We've had a perfectly fine day. And Siriu does it. Siriu gets it really close. And a 10 bomb comes in from Siriu. Siriu, you have become one of the very consistent gifters here, man. That is so kind of you. We're 6 away. 6 away. YouTube now pulling way ahead. We're 6 away from extending. That's an easy extension. While you're at it, also, guys, hit the like button. Try to get us to the next like milestone of 400. And there it is. Stone Spire says, guys, a 5 bomb would bring it home. He really set up good bait there. Twitch, this is your opportunity to steal, Twitch. This is your opportunity to steal. A 5 bomb right now secures it. And I owe that platform 5. And a 10 bomb comes in from Detective Seeds. He's out here following and unfollowing me on Twitter. We've got beef. We've got Twitter beef. I'm just kidding. The app is acting crazy, isn't it, Seeds? And a 5 bomb comes in from Pathalon Phoenix to get us to 410. Thank you so much. That's going to be 49.54. There it is. Let's just keep streaming. The Seed Man cometh. Yeah. Wooly was giving Detective Seeds my flowers this morning. He was giving my flowers to Seeds. He's like, credit where credit is due. Give Seeds his flowers. I'm like, I was the one that told everybody about Mindseye the day the trailer dropped, like months ago. I was like, I said it. So I was cheeky. I was like, nuh-uh, I said it first. And Seeds was like, that wasn't me. He's like, that was Lono. And then Wooly was like, you won. He thought it was going to like lead to an actual fight about like who said it first. And I'm like, I don't know if Seeds called it that day the trailer came out. But dude, from moment one, I was like, bro, this looks like crap. And a 20 bomb comes in from Quintar. Holy mackerel. I now owe you guys a 10 bomb over here on YouTube. And listen, we have a standing incentive. If I get 250 bombs today, I will make you guys a farty bomb emote. My kiddos nicknamed 50 bombs farty bombs. I'll make good on my promise, but it's got to be 2 because Madam will absolutely be upset that we have an emote called farty bomb and that my kids will think it's amazing. But it's got to be costly because Madam's going to be really grumpy if we do it. She's going to be really grumpy. PlayStation games have been on Steam for years. Anyone interested now because the Xbox brand of ROG is a sheep? I don't know if they're a sheep, but I was like, what am I getting dragged into? I didn't do anything. That's where I saw I wasn't following, and then I had 2 others I wasn't either. That's so weird. We did debate today, Seeds, and I said that you didn't agree with me on calling Mindseye a scam. We debated how to define that today, and it was healthy disagreement. Not everybody agreed with me. There are people that agreed with you that it wasn't a scam. The too long didn't read was, I feel like there is enough ample evidence that they were willfully misleading the public, and that classifies as scam. If people don't agree with me, that's fine. Farty Bomb is 100 since it'll annoy Madam. Yeah. I said 2. I said 250 bombs, and I'll make the emote. I did. I know, but I can see how someone would feel that way. I leave room for that. I think that's totally fair. I think that's totally fair, Seeds. We don't need to be rigid on it, but I definitely feel anybody who asks for a refund should be able to get one because they definitely sold a game that is just not at all ready. It's just so in such bad shape. Whether you consider egregious false advertising a scam or not. Yeah, and I think there's room for disagreement there, right? Some games very clearly falsely advertise their games, right? Some people did. Over the years, there's been some games that have clearly, played some shenanigans. I think in this case, I think Mindseye falls into that category. I think they knew what they were doing. I think they knew that they were basically hiding it from the public. I think they knew from moment one. Now people are like, well, what if the publisher was forcing them to ship it and da-da-da-da-da? I'm like, listen, we don't know any of that right now. We don't know any of that. Metacritic? Yes, Metacritic back up. Metacritic is back up. The website was down earlier. No, there's one review from PC Gamer. That's it. Excuse me. FBC Firebreak has revealed their post-launch content for the year. They're going to release 2 new jobs in 2025. One's codenamed Outbreak, one's codenamed Blackout. Some of the bugs captured in Mindseye are hilarious, if not nightmare-inducing. Well, you guys know every week when we hit 500, you unlock the Friday night stream with Madam, and then when we go beyond that and we do stretch goal, you make Madam play a game. So the stretch goal of 600 this week is Madam playing Mindseye. It will be hysterical. This guy says, Ponies and Nintendrones going to be owned on Halo. Us Ponies and Nintendrones don't care about Xbox trash. Only multi-platform bros are buying Xbox trash. I'm not sure what you're debating, PlayStation Forever. I don't know what you're debating. Is he saying that when Halo comes to PlayStation players are going to play and get owned by Xbox players? Is that what he's arguing? Like, okay. Nintendrones? I've heard Nintendrones. Yeah, they call them Nintendrones. Yeah. That's what he's arguing? I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, if you're really, really experienced at Halo and you're playing against people who have never played before, yeah, you probably are going to play better. My follow-up question is, who the f cares? That's my follow-up question. Who cares? Yeah, when I jump into the Gears beta on Friday, I'm going to get smoked. I don't play Gears PvP. Some guy's going to roll on the ground, and I'm going to get turned into hamburger meat. Like, I know that's going to happen. Like, ooh, a more experienced player in a franchise beat a player with no experience in the franchise. What a stunning display of Captain Obvious. Yep. I fully expect to get my butt kicked on Friday. Here's a question from Norin So Rad. Says, anybody gonna be playing Alters? I'm pumped for it after the demo. Got them Mickey 17 vibes. I will be playing Alters on Friday. I got early access to do a review, but I can't make time for it. We have permission to stream it at a certain embargo time on Friday, so I thought it would be better just to kind of show you guys. They made advice about who to pick first when playing it as well. A question from Citizen JV. Would you like a reboot of Quake from id Software? No, I would not. I don't think PvP arena shooters have a place in the industry anymore. I don't think people really want them. So I don't, and then like the Quake campaign wasn't much to speak of. Like the Quake 3 arena, like that, the campaign wasn't a whole lot to write home about. There's not really a reason to. There's not really a compelling reason to bring any of that back. You know what I'm saying? They're fine, but yeah. So the current count of member plus and above on the channel is 550. That's pretty much our floor. Okay, I owe you guys 10 members. I'm going to do it now before I forget on YouTube. You guys went a little crazy there. So I owe you 10. And keep smacking the like button. We're at 350. We're on our way to 400 likes. Thanks so much for everybody's doing that. Petrov, you're asking why. Who are you asking that, and what are you asking about? Quad damage sound? Yeah, quad damage. So good. I have a high-end PC and a Pro, also a Switch. I'm telling you, is a waste because most really great games run like trash on those handhelds. I mean, I don't... What's good, Lion? You were hoping that Mindseye was going to be good. There were people that thought I was wrong in my early assessments of the trailers, and I kind of feel bad that they kind of fell for the marketing. Could it have a 2.0 moment? No, I don't think so. I believe it's too shallow and hollow for that. It's basically meant to be a game that people make content in to promote a platform that people make content in. So I just think it's soulless. Like the story's actually pretty good. Yo, what's good, Behemoth? How are you? I'm just checking the news feeds right now. Seen a lot of Twitch partnership announcements on Twitter, so it seems like people are getting approved. That's good. We're going to apply in 3 days. We might be able to apply now, actually. I think it's 3 days, but let me double check here. Do we have 2 months worth yet? No. Well, wait. We have April 13th to May 2nd. And then we have May 13th to June 11th. Is today 30 days? Yeah, I think we do. I think we can apply now. $29 days. Yeah, I think we're good to. I think we're probably good to apply again. That'll allow us to do the sub-only streams that we want to do. What is Twitch? And a 20 bomb comes in from Behemoth. There it is. Secures easy peasy the 450. That puts us exactly 50 away from 500, and we do have a standing incentive. My kiddos made a joke today about farty bombs. They said, don't say 50 bombs, and then they said farty bombs. You're going to get a farty bomb emote, but it's going to take 250 bombs to get it because it's going to make Madam mad, and I got to have the stakes high to justify it to her. Your 40th birthday today, Behemoth. Well, happy birthday, bro. Welcome to the 40 Club. Welcome to the 40 Club. I've been here for a while, you know, keeping the seats warm for you. Appreciate ya. I'm all for the farty bombs. I had to raise the stakes, though. I had to raise the stakes pretty high. Mr. Man says, hey, how are you? Connect social media accounts. Yes, I can finally do this. It wasn't letting us connect accounts earlier. Yes, disconnect. Connect to my Twitter. Okay. There we go. Category gaming, Reforge Gaming TV. Tell us about your stream, it says. I worry if Ben's studio is out of action for 5 years till our next game. That's a lot of time to be vulnerable to the studio closure and further layoffs. I would imagine that is why they laid people off, to ensure that they're good for the foreseeable future. There we go. Application submitted. It might also help now that we've got like the YouTube account connected and the Twitter account connected to see that like we actually have a pretty good reach and a pretty good platform size as a creator. Yeah, my hope would be, Maloon, is that that's what these layoffs are about. They spun up the new project and they've got themselves to a better place so that that doesn't happen. It is unfortunate that it's going to be a while before we see anything from Bend. Do you know Crispy? You talking about Crispy Bogod? Most people are going to cop the cheaper Xbox ROG, and PlayStation games are going to run like dog water for them. I mean, anybody buying a handheld and bragging about playing PlayStation games, I don't know if that's the W you think it is. I mean, I can't imagine playing Horizon Forbidden West or Ragnarok, Tsushima, Returnal, any of those games on a handheld. They're not going to run that well. Look at those games on a PS5 Pro, which is cheaper than the handheld, and then go play it on the handheld. Like, what the frick are we even talking about? Oh, but I could play it on my couch. Yeah, so can I. I could play it on the train. Okay, that's a nice benefit, but my draw to those games was not, I'd really like these games if I could play them at the DMV. It was, they look incredible on my big screen. Like, what the frick? Like, what I don't understand. Listen, you can be any kind of gamer you want. No judgment. But what kind of a gamer is out here puffing their chest out about buying ports of PlayStation games on a handheld? Like, I'm just like, huh? It's got to be one of the weirdest attempts to peacock I've ever seen. New God of War game? What new God of War game? What are you talking about? It's going to cost at least $700. It's going to be more expensive than the one that's like $900, I would imagine. Speaking of handheld, that's right. That's right, Stone Spire. Fastest selling console. Nintendo Switch 2. It took all the records. Took them all. Every single one. But hey, people did spam drop the price in a YouTube chat, and it really worked. You'll never understand the appeal of Nintendo? I mean, you seriously can't understand it? Or are you just kind of saying that as like you're being sort of idiomatic? You're just like, I just don't get it. Come on. Like, you probably understand it. You just don't identify or empathize with it. Right? I think it's easy to understand. Oh, Santa Monica hiring for a new game. Right. Milk does this. Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah, because I mean, I that's why when people were like doubting, when they were like doubting the Split 2, the Switch 2 selling well, I was like, man, oh man, y'all are underestimating the king. You are underestimating the king, dude. That's freaking Nintendo we're talking about, boys. We received your partner application. Thank you. I feel like the last time they did this, it was really fast. Let's see how fast it was. It was a day. It took a whole day. I think you're overestimating the king. They didn't get here only on their diehards. They got here by getting the mainstream on board. Let's see how it works out this time. I don't feel like I'm overestimating. I feel like I'm just like, I knew it was going to sell like crazy. I knew it was being estimated to surpass Switch 1, and I thought that was a fair estimate. As far as how it goes for them for like the next 7 years, well, yeah, I mean, obviously we've got to see where it goes. Yo, Feed Chicken 1 with 31 months and a member plus. Thank you for renewing. Taking the count to 451. There we go. 75 on the day. Yeah, General Gorilla. I don't have any major issues with most content creators. There's not really a reason to come in here and bash other creators like that. Like I don't have any issues with him. If people don't like his content, just don't watch it. It's that simple. You know? I don't know. I have this, my superpower is having an easy time ignoring content and creators I don't like. I guess that's like my superpower. Some of you, seemingly, that's like your freaking kryptonite. Like it makes you weak and you like bothers you. It's like, just don't watch it. Who the frick cares? Let me see if Twitch fixed their tutorial on how to stream in 2K. Did they add the 0? Let's see if they did. Yeah, they fixed it. So, they, let me show you what they had. So, right here, it said, it said 14, and then this was 1400. And I was like, listen, I know math's not my strong suit, but y'all are missing a 0. It's supposed to be 14,000, not 1,400. So they fixed it. Yeah. I let them know on Twitter because I looked at it like 3 different times. I was like, that's not right. You're basically telling people to set themselves up for 1.4 meg instead of 14 meg. I'm the peak of human evolution, being able to ignore people I don't like. Thank you, Lono. That's it, man. That's it. I wish Play Spine would give us a frickin' release window. That guy said, do you know Crispy? And then never said anything else. He also made his account like 3 days ago. I'm sure you're not up to no good. I watch people that I don't care for. I enjoy bad takes. I like to watch people that I know I'm not going to agree with. Right? I give myself a pretty broad spectrum of content. Like I've told you guys recently that, I mean, I'll watch Crimes New Roman and The Birdman, but I'll also watch Asmongold Critical Drinker. Right? I do. I try to watch a pretty broad spectrum. Now, I don't watch like salt farmers and people who like make their content like mocking and raging at people and calling them stupid. Like the video that called me a woke loser. I won't watch that. I have zero interest in what that person has to say. I don't respect them. I don't have any reason to pay any attention to them. I mean, I saw the thumb in the title and I laughed, but that's the extent of what you're going to get out of me. So, but I do enjoy watching content creators that I know I'm not going to agree with. You enjoyed the Quantum TV Elden Ring review? You're interested to know when Clockwork Revolution comes? That was probably the only part of that trailer that I was bummed about. I was bummed that we didn't get a release window because I thought that was like literally, it was the best. It was my favorite thing. It stood out. It was like, man, I really liked it. The vibe was great. The humor was great. The gameplay looked great. There's a new Superman trailer. I'm watching it with the sound off. It looks like there's some new footage here. It's about tickets going on sale right now. It's 2 minutes long. Yeah, there's a lot of new stuff in this trailer I haven't seen yet. You think it's going to be in the Dev Direct? Yeah, I think Gunn cooked. I think he did it. I think he pulled it off. I'm really excited. I was a big skeptic. I was a big doubter. When they dropped my boy Cavill, I wasn't happy. But I think it looks good. I can't show you. It'll get claimed. Trailers are like the hardest thing to cover. People that do like reaction content to trailers and stuff, I do not envy them like at all. I don't envy them even like a teeny bit. They're constantly having to do shenanigans to not get automatically claimed. It's because it's not a person is the biggest problem with it. Like there's not a person that says, "Oh, hey, copyright claim." It's a bot. It's a bot. You can't unsee his eyes. I'm not sure what you mean. Surely it's foolish to have Fable, Gears, Forza, and Halo all in 1 year, then also Clockwork. They need games to come after. Surely best to let your younger studios make a splash in 2027. Yeah, I mean, dumping everything into next year would be kind of crazy. We'll have to see what they decide to do. He's not missed with any of these movies or shows. You guys don't feel like there's got to be somebody in chat that disagrees. Has he missed? He's had to have missed on something. 2026 is already stacked. People's attention and money can only go so far. Even like Peacemaker. Yeah, I've been meaning to watch the Suicide Squad movie that he made and then watch Peacemaker. I've been meaning to do that. The problem right now that I have is like my wife and I are really enjoying RoboQuest, and that makes it really, really hard to really hard to watch shows and movies and stuff, because like I just kind of want a game, and she's been like, yeah, let's try again, you know. She's liking the game. You DM'd me? Oh, I couldn't see the DM. I had my chat too high today. I got the new combo chat app on my streaming rig, and I drug it all the way to the top, and I didn't see your DM. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I did not see that. I did not see that. Hang on. Chat's too high today. I drug the chat window all the way to the top of the monitor, so I could not see Creature's DM. I forgot, since I'm not using my gaming rig for the music, I was like, oh, I'll just drag my chat all the way to the top, because usually I would put the music up there too so I could see what track was playing. Well, let's just run it and hope for the best. Let's try something. I want to try something different. No. I don't think we need to hold it. I think we take the shot. I think we take the shot now. I think we've got to be maybe a little bit more bold. Hang on. Isn't there a way? Yeah, we've got a lot, though. We need to kind of push them out while they're still warm in the algo. Okay, I think you can do this. I think you can... Just in case it doesn't work. Okay. I think you can do this. I think you can schedule it and then I'll go here, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then I'll do this. I'm not going to set it. I'm going to change it. Don't panic. I'm trying something. We used to do this and it worked well. Give me a second, chat. Okay. Edit this, add that, save. And then I think we go like this. Done. Save. It's not letting me switch it. Okay, it's working now. Okay. Okay. Okay, it's scheduled. It's not a premiere. It's scheduled, so it is not a premiere. But it will, because of what I did, it should allow us to redirect. I can't do that until it's there. Okay, that's fine. Wait, why is it live? Oh, it's not live, it's private. Oh, that's right. When you schedule something, I forgot. When you schedule something, you can't see it until it actually goes live. I forgot. I thought all videos showed you when it was going to go live and the premiere just had the chat. I forgot that's how it works. Okay. That's fine. I still think this is a good experiment. What time's it going up? It's going up in 4 minutes. What's live? I got a video on a game that I'm saying is going to be the next Expedition 33. It's a small studio, and I think they're gonna swing a big stick. I think the game is gonna hit really, really hard, really, really heavy. I think people are gonna really like it. So I'm gonna send you guys there on YouTube in 3 minutes. Twitch, I think we're just gonna keep going. So I'm just gonna ask you guys to click the link. Instead of shutting down, I'll just take a break and like go to a break screen. Seeds will get his flowers for that. That's a good meme. Keep that meme going. Anytime I call something and then it happens, be like, well, we got to give Seeds flowers for that one. I think he'll like that. He will enjoy that. I want to see if this works too. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna watch on my phone and see if this idea I have works. Okay. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, do me a real quick favor, man. Smash the heck out of the like button. That is super, super helpful. Once that video is over, it should send you to Green Room. If it doesn't, just go to the members playlist and click on Green Room. I'll be back, live with Green Room in 15 minutes or so. We'll let that video kind of get its start. We might start doing that just to kind of help some of these smaller videos get like a kickstart and then, give you guys time to watch it, get settled for the afternoon. So we'll do that. We'll do that in the next 2 minutes. So do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, click that like button and let folks know the emote incentive. We'll run that all week. So if any of the big boys come in and want to flex, it doesn't have to be in the same stream. I'll honor that. I will honor that. It doesn't have to be in the same stream. So if somebody does a 50 bomb today and then a 50 bomb tomorrow, I'll count it. Doing 2 in 1, that's a little unfair because sometimes a big boy will come in and swing like nobody else will. So I'll be fair, and that could be on either platform, by the way, because like somebody dropped a 100 bomb last week on freaking Twitch. It was pork pie. How was Life is Strange? Have you played that? No, those aren't really my jam. Those aren't really my kind of games. So I've never paid much attention. I mean, I've seen them, but I've never like given them a second thought. Okay. All right, it is no longer private. So here you go, Twitch. Help me out. The link is in chat. Please click that link, give the video a watch, and then come right back here. It's literally 4 minutes. YouTube, same deal. I'm also going to redirect you, YouTube, and then I'll be back for Green Room. All right? I'll see you guys in a bit.